Peace to you, Golden Black One. I see you in there. I'm still getting ready to go and fill this water bottle up. And, and Sister Ajali, I'll let you talk for a second. And I go.
Me talk? No, that's not possible.
Well, you see what I wrote in the description.
No, I didn't, because I'm at the StreamYard.
You see what I wrote in the description.
Oh, the radical sister is gone, but now she's back. I'm at the StreamYard. Wait, okay, I hear myself in too many places, and I don't know why. I'm at the StreamYard. Wait, okay. Places, and let's get rid of that.
There, how's that?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Yeah, I had a second window open.
Ah, okay, I did.
Okay, I'm gonna go and get my water. What I wrote in the description though is the radical sister is gone, but now she's back, and this time it's personal.
That's funny. I didn't get that. Oh, cool. Well, I guess since our brother's going to get his water, and our wonderful Sister Lashid, Sister Lashid just be talking such deep analysis on what's going on. I didn't read the whole description in what you put out there, and then I also closed the window because I thought, well, maybe that's bringing the echo. Yeah, for everybody who may be watching, greetings to you first. It's wonderful to see you. And yeah, they took down every single channel. Usually they'll have it so that, there's one or two backup channels. That's why everybody has a backup channel. But that's not what they did. And I got the email messages that were just like, YouTube, Radical Sister, your channel's been removed. Radical Sister 2, your channel's been removed. Radical Sister 3. I was just like, wow. So it is a separate action that they had to do in order to send all those separate emails to me. They didn't just come with one that said, oh, we've changed our minds, your entire account, we've pulled it down. They had to go through each separate action. What I think was the kicker for them, but it's still racist, is that I danced over the chick who just died. And I think for them, they insist that we bow down. They've been doing such a massive propaganda to resurrect our just beguilement with their royalty. And she was the titular head of white supremacy, of colonization. But it all gets back to white supremacy. That's why Meghan Markle is up in there, as nasty as she is because they were like, okay, we need to do something in order to just make our global appeal not seem so racist. So them allowing Meghan into the family was racist in and of itself, because they weren't doing it in a genuine fashion. They just searched out some chick who was so desperate to be, universal and that she agreed with it, so that she was dating someone else, and then she marries Harry in 5 seconds flat. And Harry is just like, he got problems, and I'm not mad at him for having problems. They murdered, in my conclusion, they murdered his mother. How would that be, to be living in a family and they just axe your mom, and then you're supposed to just stay stuck in that family drama forever? So I think Meghan has been sort of also a little bit of an exit for him, where he could move to another country and just get away from them a little bit. And yeah, so I think that was just a little straw for them. But other than that, they've been wanting me off of here for the longest time. And they, just like Sister Lashid was saying, that they pick substitutes. And I don't want to really even go into people's names, Because for me, I'm going higher. I'm like, you're gonna miss me. You're gonna miss me now.
Right.
Right?
But
But yes, they picked different substitutes, and not just females. They picked a male substitute to sort of show that he was going to talk about the conspiracy theories. And when I went to look at his content, I was like, he's talking about nothing. And they even put up this fake battle between him and this big white conspiracy theory site,
mhm,
and in order to announce that he was there, because what winds up happening is that white people don't want to die either, and I'm
right,
not here to espouse the genocide of anybody, not even white people. I'm just separate. This is not working out for anybody. And that
right,
is actually, for a lot of white folks, an appealing message where they're acknowledging, you know what? Yeah, I'm never going to really be comfortable around Black people. And they didn't want that. They didn't want, because when I did one share about the uh, Google or the YouTube murderer, I can't remember what her name was, and I
I
noticed that,
remember that one.
yeah, and suddenly, I mean, that one went way up in the views instantly, and it was overwhelmingly white people, and they
Mhm,
were agreeing with what I was sharing. That's the last thing that they want to have happen, is for them to think that, wait a minute, pro-Blackness doesn't mean go out and kill whitey. It just means that these people are a separate nation, a separate principality. They are
right,
prisoners of war, citizen nations, not citizens of the US, but citizens of their own people. And that's why they need that constant back and forth between Black and white. And that's why they hire so many. If they hire operatives for YouTube, why would they not be hiring Black people in these individual targeted cities to
right,
go out and punch a random Chinese person? Why? What are you doing that for? That makes no logical sense according to our nature and our character. But in the
right,
middle of white people doing worse and worse, and their elites and just regular white people, they're not too stable. They lose it and they start killing their own families. They need to still keep up that narrative that we're the worst people on the planet. And
right,
so why, if they wouldn't hire, it's this person, I could say, a Sin G, why wouldn't they hire these folks out in the streets to make sure that they're always on camera doing these awful things, right? They talk about paid assassins. Why wouldn't they pay operatives to just keep up? They're desperate. These people are desperate. They don't know how to live in truth,
right.
justice, and righteousness. They just don't know.
Just you're absolutely right. Hold on, just a minute.
Oh, no problem.
I want to welcome Mr. Pirate Brain into the chat room, and beloved Queen Gwen B is also in the chat room. I
There
want to
goes.
welcome her, and uh, Golden Black when she was like the first one in. So yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know there's not really going to be a lot of form to this. It's not it's not a Q&A type of a thing. Sister Ajali and I usually are very conversational anyway
Mm.
in our tone. So and I see you just came in unsunken one. Peace to you. So we'll just be kind of just discussing different topics, but Sister Ajali will have the floor most of the time because what we're talking about is the fact that all of her YouTube channels were pulled down, all of them, her backup channels and everything. She does have a new channel, and I will give the link after I figure out how to do it. But even if it's after the stream, I'll still put the link.
I think
Um,
I can't
are
because
you able to?
I don't know. Did you give me a wrench? If you give me a wrench,
Okay,
then I can do it. I don't think that I have a wrench. So,
hold on a second. I don't
okay.
even know how to do that. Let me.
Oh, wait. Do you know what? Let me make a comment because then I can't. Then you can't do that.
And see, and I'm
There we go. Okay.
okay. You
It'll
just
take a while before it comes on the YouTube. site because there's a time delay.
Okay. And I'm also trying to, yeah, see, I'm trying to give a wrench to pretty much everybody that's in the room. I see Brother Roy O just came in. Um, yeah, so I was trying to give Mr. Pirate Brain and Gwen B and Golden Black one a wrench too. And I can't see how to do it, unsunken one. So, and keep in mind, I'm just now learning how to use this, and I'm pretty. I was pretty techie in my day. I said on another stream that I could still break down and build a computer from scratch. But when it comes to this newer tech, I'm not really up on it because I don't go on social media that much.
Mm.
Again, it's more conversational. Sister Ajali is going to do most of the talking, explain what happened. Now, I saw the dance that she did. I think that it was borderline worth taking down all the channels, but not totally. I mean,
Yeah.
she doesn't dance that bad.
Well, thank you for
Yeah,
even
I was
mentioning.
messing with you. So, yeah, go on, take the floor. I was messing with you.
No, because I recognize that here's the thing. You should be respectful of someone who has departed. But I know for Black us who are aware of the history of these royals in our societies, that was cultural just responses on our part. And I saw all over the media where they were trying to make fun of us, like, oh, you don't know. I saw one where they were like, she was decolonizing Africa. No, they decolonized in a way that suited them. So that they could put different African tribes in a proximity that would allow them to keep on just poking, causing conflicts.
I'd like to interject something real quick,
Mhm.
just to the first thing you said, as far as being respectful of people who transition. If effing Leopold had transitioned and I was back in that day, the only two decisions I'd have been torn between was whether I was going to spit on his grave or piss on it.
Yes,
And
that's what
so,
I'm saying.
so I'm like, all this, if somebody's the devil, they're just the effing devil.
That's
And
like,
I'm not one of these, oh, they're gone, so you have to show some kind of reverence. No, screw that. I'm
how
like, oh, you've
many.
done nothing. But anyway, you got the floor back.
Well, I'm sorry. I get so excited, and then that's not good. But how many movies are there, especially not Schindler's List, but there was the recent one with Hitler. I'm like, what would you do if you find out? And what did people do when they found out he was dead? They celebrated,
Exactly.
right? And so for them, that's what I'm saying. We're a whole separate nation. And when you have two solid objects in the same place, one of them has to give way. And they want us to give way just by making it so uncomfortable that, or what they think is uncomfortable. But that's one of the wonderful things about them having taken away my channels. I'm not really that angry. It's sort of like I'm in the lion's den. And what, I'm going to get mad because I suddenly notice I don't have my left leg anymore? I'm going to be like, what the hell am I doing here? Unfortunately, they've abducted us into this situation so that right now they're accomplishing, and that's what I'm here for, a genocide that is so vast. And if you don't know about the man-made radioactive aspect of it, woo, you are at death's door. You're almost in the coffin, because that is their primary method of getting that done. And so I'm just like, I need to be on the platform that's going to give me the most access to our people. When I was on Facebook, that's what convinced me I needed to go to YouTube, because I was just like, Facebook, they saw me because I was writing articles about Fukushima, and they shut all my access down.
Mm-hmm.
I said, let me go to YouTube. And when I got here, all of a sudden, I'm not saying I'm the direct cause, But I'm just saying, that's when suddenly Google came in and bought it up. YouTube used to be phenomenal. And then Google bought it up and they started slowly changing their parameters. Oh, we're not going to be so fair anymore. And then everything where now you could, and that was a wonderful contrast to showcase that I had 22, nearly 23,000 subscribers on just the one channel. And my view counts, I might as well have had a channel of about 1,000 subscribers or even less for the amount of views that they were allowing. So for me right now, I'm not upset because I'm just like what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, every knock is a boost. Sister Lashid was saying that she felt the Most High was letting her know she had to go to a different subject matter. And for me, I have to go to a different reality. I have to just go out, even if it's just 2-3 people in the audience, and start talking face to face, because it would be one thing if what I was saying weren't completely backed up by all the science, but it is. And Joe Biden's FDA just allowed all Fukushima produce, and that's going to include the fish, into our food streams, and they don't have to tell you where they put that crap. And so I'm just like, no, we don't understand. This stuff, it builds up, it builds up, and it builds up. So for them to remove my voice, and I'm the only Black environmentalist, I'm so much more than that. But I'm just saying, I'm the only Black environmentalist on all of social media. And I don't know if it's over the Queen or not. They didn't tell me why. But I'm just like, and I don't advocate violence. I actually, when people come to my channels and say, oh, we need to get out there and start doing this against them, I'm like, are you damn crazy?
Right.
We don't even need to do any of that. I speak peacefully with any white person who comes in and leaves comments, unless they're a racist. I'm always speaking peacefully to them. I remind them that this integration is the problem. And that's why Fukushima and all the other crap is happening right now. We need to separate, but I wish them love. I say pink on pink love so many times. Somebody should have put it in a T-shirt.
Right. And that's the thing on your channels. You very specifically spoke against any kind of violence, any kind of hate, or I mean, you literally would say the words, and you never advocated or promoted such things. All you were doing was trying to give out warnings to save lives, and the lives of anybody who would take heed. And I'm talking about if you're white, if you're Black, whatever. These warnings would serve to protect anyone.
Exactly.
And so you actually spoke to Mr. Pirate Brain's question, because he said, why did they take your channel down? And it's kind of hidden a little bit behind my thing, but that's the thing. I was going to ask the same thing. And they, and like you said, they never gave you a reason, which is even more suspicious and so much worse.
Yeah, they don't have a reason. And I'm I do have the little tab where I could put in an appeal, which I'll do eventually. But at the same time, them channels, I'm pretty sure they ain't bringing them back.
Right.
They're not. When they do something, they took every single one.
Right. I've seen people. I have seen videos disappear. And peace to you, Ann. I see you in there. I've seen individual videos taken down. I've seen individual comments and channels like mine, getting shadow banned or whatever.
Never growing in subscribers.
But I've never seen just like this wholesale takedown of an entire channel to the point. And I hope you don't mind me mentioning this, but to the point where you weren't even allowed to comment on videos that people were making.
Yeah.
And that was, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? That's beyond the pale. That's beyond the pale. So some people are probably wondering then why, how did you get your new channel? You don't have to say that. But the
No, I
fact
don't
is
mind.
that she
I know
was able
sometimes.
to.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
I was just saying the fact is that you were able to through the genius of your king get a new channel set up. So you can talk about that a little bit or whatever, wherever you want to go with it.
Well, Brother Z, he just told me that I had to start a whole new email account, and thereby wouldn't be linked to the other accounts. And that's what I did. And so this is a whole, other setup. I have no access. And I even had a fifth channel on that other Gmail account called Fukushima from A to Z, where I had hoped to upload the playlist to the separate platform. That would have upset me, because that would have been a lot of work if I'd actually managed to put all those up there. And so that one I don't have any access to, even though they technically don't say that it's gone. They didn't send me, we're taking this one down. Yeah, I know that they removed it because I'm the only one. I'm putting not just the general analysis together, which is wonderful. We need that. But without adding that radioactive factor into everything that they're doing, it's almost like what I forgot, a wonderful historian brother who said, if you do not understand racism, Black and white supremacy, then everything else is going to confuse you. So if you do not understand how integral Fukushima and all things nuclear are into killing everybody, it's a fumigation of the planet, everything else is going to confuse you. That's why they're getting so insane. They want to normalize a ridiculous level of chaos because they don't have enough time. This goes very against their usual method of Edward Bernays programming everybody, because they go slowly. Holly Weird didn't just suddenly, turn into this, it's a woke piece of crap now. They went slowly with Greta Garbo and all of those white women who were just exposing themselves. Long before there was Megan Thee Stallion, there was Greta Garbo. They usually go generationally, but this thing, they're jumping it off in a matter of like weeks. Every week is a new level of just ridiculousness, because it serves their purpose to also keep us distracted. So we're constantly conversing about all of this lunacy. Like, I love how you're like me, where I will talk about the celebrities, but at the same time, I'm with you, where I'm just like, I don't care about these people. They're not the point. The point is separate. The point is build. And they've got us so into the rubbernecking over these ridiculously just catastrophes. And I don't mean Fukushima, but human catastrophes, that we almost don't even want to click on something that's positive anymore. I'd be positive all the time, because that's the way I feel. That's the life I live. But I come up here and do that, it'd be crickets. And I know that from doing that and seeing, wow, I was just talking about this beautiful Black family, and I didn't need YouTube to suppress the algorithms. We just are like, okay, and I see it. I do the same thing myself. I don't want to sit up here like I'm perfect. I do the same myself. When Brother Water Sniper, I make a point to go see his stuff about how we're marrying, but I don't always do that. So it works. The devil is studying all human behavior so he can make his evil seem fair or impossible to step away from. So that you got people who are just like, well, without white people in charge, what are we gonna do? And I watched Alone, the series where they went up to Alaska and they were living all by themselves. And most of the thing that got them crazy was just not being connected with people. But I was more so looking at their survival methods. And I recognized if they had their family there, they'd be fine living in a shack with no electricity. I'm not saying that I want that for us, because, without Black us, these cities would not be lit up without all of them burning down, okay? I'm just saying they've gotten us addicted so much so that we think we can't live without them, when living with them is intolerable at this point, when they're threatening our children. They got, pamphlets out there where they're saying, if a stranger comes up to you, don't make the stranger feel bad if he wants to start talking to you. It's slowly encouraging children to be okay with weirdos entering their space. Oh, the hell no. That's not tolerable. So I'm like, okay, when do we leave the obvious distractors alone? Like the, wait, I don't know why. Oh, I know why, because my battery must be going bad. I saw my screen dim a bit. There we go. When do they, there it goes. When do we just say, you know what? I don't want to, like you told me, Cynthia G. just keeps talking about aborting Black male fetuses. Joseph Mengele? Anyone? And she gets 3,500 live watching her live stream while she's saying it. I know that could be, a click farm. But at the same time, I'm just like, I know there's some Black people up there still listening to that. And why? Why would you be listening to something so depraved? Why wouldn't you, seeing that, not make a beeline to our brother Yapu Yapu's channel? Why wouldn't, with all this hella weird insults coming out one after the other with interracialism as if that's all we are, why wouldn't you want to buy our books? That's that, I got to have the electricity. I got to have the movie. No, sit down. We write our stories so they're gripping. And you're not insulted. You are actually inspired and just accelerated up in your own confidence that we got this. I that's the portion of it that I don't get, because I'm not that type of person. Once I know that there's something threatening us, I'm gonna get out here and let other folks know. So I don't know if you're still here, brother. I didn't want it to be just a constant, rattle coming from me. But you might be taking a break somewhere, and that is okay. So let me greet you, family, because without you, I ain't nothing. Peace, beloved sister Golden Black 189, Mr. Pirate Brain, Gwen Abbey, and Unsunken One. Good to see you, brother, and beloved brother Roy Zero. It's good to see you, brother. And I think that's everybody. Oh, Sister Ann, it's good to see you, sister. And yeah, I think I got everybody. I'm going down. Yep, there we go. All right. Oh, good Lord, it's hot. And so, that combination of putting when I read these books by these white nuclear physicists, they outline how their word was stifled, snuffed out completely, categorically, one after another, because I'm just like, why haven't we heard of Ernest Sternglass? Why haven't we heard of, oh my goodness, I can't even remember all their names, but there's, Rosalie Bertell, and there's one who I want to read, she was the one who got x-rays discontinued from being used on pregnant women because she showed that there were so many deformities coming from these x-rays. Oh, no, that's okay, brother. I kept it going. So
did y'all know I was gone?
Hmm?
Did y'all know I was gone?
Yeah, just for a working, but that's okay.
Okay, I
We
thought I was gone for a while. Yeah, I'm just letting everybody know I'm in the boondocks, so my internet is kind of janky. This is running through mine, so I was thinking that the whole thing shut down. So I'm glad that you could go on. I just now finally got back on.
Oh, that's good. I'm very
This,
glad.
this internet I'm using. I'm gonna have to tell my neighbor to get some dollars, quit being so cheap, and get some better internet.
So you could just sort of jack into his, right?
Exactly. That's what you think I'm doing right now. I'm kidding. Okay, let me let you go back to talking. Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that, as far as why I assess that my channels are going, is because they've been coming for them forever. They can't stand because they can't stand the truth. As people, we all are saying it. Truth for them is the new hate speech, because even with the homosexuality-ism, they can not afford to have an actual conversation about this proposal. I just put memes up on my Instagram account where 1/3, is it 1/3? It's 1/3 of Gen Zers identify as homosexual, as queer. And queer is even vaster. That's gigantic. That is extinction. Because you can't have the conversation where you're like, really? These people are going to be having babies in a completely unnatural fashion. And then they're going to be giving their children chaos. And just with the heterosexual normative out there, you have 1/3 of them saying that they're queer. These folks are going to ruin those children. And it's quiet. It's hidden that a lot of these children are questioning what their, loose and fluid parents are just pushing on them. How many of them are just like getting their parts lopped off? And then they have transgender regret after that. Well, too late now. Right. What kind of society is this? And they want this to shove down our throats as though this is the new reality. And you're mean if you don't say, yo, can we put a brake on this train? That just makes no sense. And so that's, for me, that's why. And then with the radiation, the fact that that's incredible proof. These people cannot be left in charge of anyone's destiny, not even their own people's destiny. That's why my channel is on.
Just the fact that they go to such extreme lengths to shut down speech pretty much tells you everything you need to know. Because if a person has, you defeat an argument, or you meet an argument with a counter argument.
Yeah.
If you feel that your counter argument is strong enough, then that's what you depend on. But if you know that your counter argument is weak or non-existent, then all you can do is try to shut the other person down so that they can't speak. Exactly. Because you got nothing. You don't have an argument to counter what they're saying, because you know that what you're saying is bull and carries no weight. And I perceive that is exactly what's happening on so many fronts. And then when you're taking people down for hate speech, you heard the clip that I emailed you. It's incredible.
I haven't, because I was listening to Sister Rashid, and so I didn't listen to that right then.
It lasts like 35 seconds, and it's actually less than 30 seconds. And it's just incredible to actually hear it. You know it, but when you hear it, it's a whole different thing. But also, when they talk about false information or misinformation, when you have YouTube, and this is proven on site after site after site, where people and on not just on YouTube, but on consumer protection sites, where a lot of these products that they let people advertise on here are bogus. They're either shoddy, or they're not as advertised, or they're straight up scams. But they allow that because they're paid advertisers, and they just let all these lies to proliferate. And then as far as misinformation goes, you still have things about the joke that are even according to even according to the WHO and the CDC are no longer accurate according to them.
The officials who shoved it down our throats to begin with.
Exactly. But they're still leaving the stuff up and still silencing people who say things who you can be reading directly from the CDC website, and they'll shut you down.
Yep.
It is
down all sorts of videos. Yeah. And there's a brother, wonderful brother, the original man. Same thing where your channel, they just hide it. The original man shared a whole, like breakdown of what's going on with the WHO organization. And they silenced his channel and just took the whole video down instantly. And I was like, oh, censorship is still going on. You can't even report what's in the general news. So I look at it as that YouTube they're slowly MySpacing themselves, because a lot of people are just going to leave. Like I managed to get on Rumble. I don't know how long I'm going to be allowed on Rumble, because I know there's nobody out there saying what I'm saying, and that's the problem for them. But at the same time, I'm just like, lots of people are just leaving.
Right. Well, it was like I was saying to Angela, I can't remember if it was last night or night before, but I said, oh, I think it was the night before, because I was so ticked off about what they did to your channel. And I said, that's the way that I feel about cops and politicians. I say there's no such thing as a good cop, and there's no such thing as a good politician, because if you are a good cop, either of three things is going to happen. Either you're going to quit. Well, it's actually either of two, because quitting and getting pushed out are the same thing. Either you're going to get pushed out, or you're going to assimilate into what they are. And same thing for politicians. Either you go crooked or you get out, but you can't stay straight within that system. And that's why I say there's no good ones in there. And I'll amend it a little by saying this: the ones who are good ones, they're either moving in the direction of getting out, or they're moving in the direction of becoming the mess. Same thing is true of a platform like this one, where either you're on your way out, or you're on your way becoming part of the mess. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And for some people, it may sound as if it's a mean thing, but it's a mentality. It has symptoms where you have a tolerance for being around deceptive, corrupt, societies and groups and organizations, because there's something there that's drawing you in. Otherwise, you would know. We can barely change what's going on in our school districts or in a little school, but you're going to be in this giant organization, fraternal order or whatever, and somehow or another you're going to transform it, your individual self? Of course you're not. And so there's a little bit of passivity, a little bit of collusion going on with that, because ultimately these are your boys, your girls. You're going to want to, get along with them. The story of Serpico, where he was a real person who ratted on these other fellow officers, and they set him up so he got killed.
Right.
So that's just, I agree with you 100%. That's why the best and only strategy is separation, not this whole, and that's what they don't want. They're trying. I notice they don't even want to mention separation. But when they do mention it, they talk about it as if it's the same thing as segregation. They'll say separation is, racist. If you see someone talking about, but no, and then they'll show pictures from segregation times.
Exactly.
Not the same thing at all.
Right.
Segregation, they're doing it. They're in control of our judicial processes. Separation, that means we're doing it on our own. And
Right.
we're in charge of ourselves.
Right. The Greenwood district was separated. Rosewood was separated. And when you're separate, segregation and separation both means that you're apart, but segregation means that I'm apart from you, but you still have say over what happens to me and what I do. Separation means that I'm autonomous and I do things my way. I do things outside of outside of your will, and you don't have any control over me. And
Right.
that's what they don't want, because that's the classic abuser cycle, and that's what makes, for me, that's what makes it so dangerous when there's these channels that's like going off on white people, calling them all these different names and all this. It makes you feel like you're doing something when you're doing absolutely nothing.
No.
You're talking all this yang, and you're like, yeah. See, but you have to ask the question. Okay, they're calling white people all these names. They're talking bad about white people, all this stuff. How come they're not pulling them down? How come this channel is getting all these views? How come this channel is being promoted? It's because it's controlled freaking opposition. They don't care if you're freaking talking about them bad. If I'm an abusive husband and I'm at work and my wife spends all freaking day talking to her friend on the phone about what a piece of shit I am. If I get home and dinner is hot on the table and I can sit back and watch my television show and then go to bed and get laid and start up in the morning and go do the same thing over and over again, I don't give a crap what she's saying to her friend about me.
Right.
I'm getting everything I want. I don't give a crap what she's saying.
Right.
And that's my whole point. You have these channels. See, well, yeah, we talking about the white man. Oh, I'm drinking white man's tears and all this crap. The system is still firmly in place. And they know it, and they're getting everything that they want. So what do they care if you're talking about? They're crying all the way to the bank is where they're crying.
Yes. All the stuff with the PPP loans, which were what I realized, like you had highlighted how they just managed the biggest theft, and that's after all the other thefts in history with
Right.
this whole scenario over the past couple of years. But those PP loans were given out to individuals also, and there's one celebrity after another when they go to court because they got it under false pretenses, that's winning. But the whole thing was just a setup so that these people who are supporting this hell will continue to support it because they're like, okay, I got my golden parachute. I'm going to be okay. I can keep killing everybody and everything and going along with censorship, going along. I used to think these people actually believed in the Constitution, but that was before I found out that it's a conning institution, and that really the freedom that was gone like in 1740 something. Or actually, I think even after the Revolutionary War here, where Elizabeth, she owned on their papers through Social Security. That's why it's all our names are in capital letters. She considered herself our owners. The ownership is just passing to King Charles in charge.
Right.
It ain't changing anything. They're not fessing up to anything whatsoever. And so all of this is just, when you find out how deep it is, you don't want to know the lies anymore. You want to know more of the truth.
Right. Real quick, I want to welcome Jai Africa. I hope I'm saying that right. And Nervy Girl.
Yes.
To the chat. I see you in here. Thank you. I added the link for Sister Ajali's new channel. I'll periodically keep loading it. I don't know how to mod anybody up yet, so they can put it in. All I see is put the user in timeout out or block them, and I don't see anybody in here I want to block.
Wow, that's interesting. Maybe they've also removed the mods, because the mods are wonderful. Moderators are wonderful at getting out the trolls.
Yeah, I think I just don't know what I'm doing yet on this
Oh, okay.
particular platform here. So yeah, but yeah, it's for me. For me, it's all about separation, and it's definitely about us getting control of our own narrative. That's why we write. That's why we speak as we do. But especially with the writing, we're told all these things about people. I personally, this is again me personally. I couldn't care less what anyone else thinks about our people. I I truly, with all my soul, could not possibly care less. I do care about what our people think about our
Yeah.
people, because that's where the dysfunction starts to grow and breed. That's where the looking at us like we're something less and looking at them or everyone else as if there's something more or have something more on the ball comes
Yeah.
from. And with books like this Black Nation, and now Melanin and others, we're attempting, or we're doing what I'm not going to say we're attempting. What we're doing is trying to wrestle control of our own narrative
Right.
away from those who hate us and present us in all these crazy ways.
Mm.
So once you can do that, then it makes it so that you start to think differently about your own people. The men start looking at themselves differently. Our women start looking at themselves differently. Our men start looking at our women differently. Our women start looking at their men differently, and we start seeing each other as we are,
Mm.
as opposed to how we this facade that's been given to us, this fake thing. Because frankly, if you've grown up in this system, then then the people you hate aren't even black people. The people you hate are these fictitious characters that were made up.
Mm.
You're not even really hating on black people, because that's not us.
That's a beautiful. Wow. That's wild. That's deep. I love that.
And so those are that's my thoughts on it. What do you think?
I think that you just were spot on. And I never even thought of it that way. That, and that for me is been my tactic has been to just stop being embarrassed about any of our behavior.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually delighted because we don't evidence the what they do. We're not doing what they do. We never have. But to even contemplate that, when as a child I was embarrassed, or you do one of those things where as a black person who, you did really well in school, you're like, well, I don't think I have anything in common with black people, because they give you this impression that there's just one size fits all. When
Mm-hmm.
exactly what are you? You're black, aren't you? And we're also the origin of all language. So stop it. Um, but when I was younger, and even my family, everybody's family, you would see one black person who was doing something that was embarrassing. You make fun of them, you berate them. And I'm like, I'm not embarrassed anymore. There's no soul out there doing anything. Even the sisters with the Skittles in their hair. I'm not mad at you. I may not like it, but I'm not embarrassed by you. I don't care if some non-black person would have come up to me when I'm looking at somebody walking around with a package of Skittles in their hair, and they would have the nerve to go head nodding with me. Ain't that a shame? I wouldn't, but that my first response would be to smack them straight across the face. Who the hell do you think you are? You and
Right.
yours, you're the reason for that. I don't blame that sister. I don't blame that brother for sagging his pants.
Right.
But when I see that, and I think there's a better way to represent yourself so you feel proud. And because a lot of what we do is out of desperation, because we feel so ignored. We feel so alone and isolated and hated. And so, yeah, you could, assist them and help them know that, there's a better way to make your point, to be noticed so that it's not negative in your whole life. Because certain behavior, you're going to be sitting around looking at your household wondering what went wrong. But other than that, I'm not going to just, I know for them, hell no. The non-black people, I mean.
And piggybacking on what you're saying, because I agree with you, uh, our people, it is it hurts me to see it because our people are such easy pickings, and the reason that we are is for the same reason that you could go, and we've all seen it. If we have any kind of age on us, we've seen it happen when starting in school, there may be a little black girl who's a dark-skinned black girl, and she's made fun of because her skin is dark and her hair may be short or her lips may be big and nose is wide, just different things. Now, me personally, that's what I liked when I was young, and that's the truth. But I've seen more often than not those children, actually men or male and female, picked on. And so you grow up, and then you're taught your whole young life that you're ugly, that you're worthless, that you don't have good hair, quote unquote, and all these things. And then some piece of crap guy comes along who knows what he's looking at, and he sees that vulnerability.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, she's knocked up or she's in some jacked up relationship because they pegged her. They're like, she has low self-esteem, and all I have to do is tell her how beautiful she is a few times and whatever. And next thing I know, I'm like living in her house for free and so on. I'm not dogging her life, man. I'm just saying what happens. And I'm saying this for another reason. And the same thing happens with young men too. Women can do that to young men who have low self-esteem because they've been dogged out their whole life or whatever.
Yep.
Now imagine taking an entire people and taking an entire people who have been told from cradle to grave, but they're still walking around. But from the time they were conceived, they're told that they're worthless, that they're ugly, that they're criminals, that they're drug addicted, that they're thieves, that they're liars, that they're da 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 da. And then some charlatan, and I'm talking about black folk, some charlatan comes along. Oh, I'm going to empower you. We're a nation. We need to take back what's ours. Take back what? What was stolen? What are you talking about? But anyway, we can take back what's ours. We have this power. We have that power. Well, we do. Separated from this system.
Exactly.
But from within this system, you ain't got jack squat as far as power goes. Not within this construct.
Yeah.
But the whole scam is based on playing on the fact that you've been hurt and told you are worthless all your life, and I'm going to swoop in and make you feel empowered.
Exactly.
And thank you for the Cash App. Thank you for the Cash App. Thank you for the Cash App.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for the Cash App. I'm empowering you. Hit me on the Cash App. Everything is about money. But what are you doing?
Yes.
If you're not talking about separating from this system, you're not talking.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it. I use the casino constantly as the analogy. If you're in a casino and all the games are fixed in the casino, the goal of the people in the casino is to keep you in there and keep you putting your money in there. And every now and then they let somebody hit the jackpot. They make sure the jackpot machine has loud bells and whistles and lights up. And then you're looking at it, well, shoot, they hit the jackpot. I can hit it too. Every now and then they'll let somebody slip through so that everybody else looks at them. Well, if they did it, I can do it too. No,
Exactly.
you can't. You're in a system where all the games are fixed
Mm,
against you. The only way that you can win is to leave the casino and start doing
exactly.
things for yourself. And I'm not a
It's what
bootstrapper. I'm not a bootstrapper, but you can never win. The house always wins, like the old
well,
saying goes.
they
The
did that
house always wins.
they did that study where they had college students, black college students, come into a Monopoly game, and I know by now we all have to have heard of that one. And
Mm-hmm.
when the game was already in progress and all the good properties were gone, and then they just, said, okay, now you can play. And of course they lost. They couldn't catch up. And so,
Right.
how in the world you just set us free? And they never stop hunting us. They never stop making sure we can't get it just set straight. How in the world are we supposed to be able to catch up to that? And so then also to have our voices silenced when that's one of the things that it delighted me to be able to prove that we're not the worst people on the planet. I see
Right.
they have this thing where right now I'm just like amazed at the hell that's happening in China. And I'm like, look at these people can't stand each other. What they're doing to one another, and then all the other countries out there that why is this narrative that we're just all awful still happening? It should just be blasted apart. It's their stereotyping of us as a war strategy.
Exactly. I see Craig J. I'm sorry, just came into the chat. I want to
I see
welcome you.
so many people. If I smile
And
sometimes,
oh,
it's because I see so many of our beautiful family coming on in.
I know in peace and Black Power, the General Mosquito. I want to take a moment and play everybody's favorite game show. Make it make sense. Okay, so
Okay.
here's the question for 20 fake dollars. When discussing the politicians and saying we're going to get these politicians to do what we ask them to do or what we demand that they do, or we're going to withhold our votes. At the same time, you're marching and saying you're marching because your votes are being suppressed. Okay, so you're saying if you don't do what we demand, we're going to hold back or withhold the votes that you're suppressing. All right, Sister Ajali, make it make sense.
Tick, 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 tick. I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever. And I never even thought about it like that. Because I don't vote. I would never. For me, I feel that in terms of, that's giving my tacit agreement to be represented by devils. And they don't do anything whatsoever. I'm always shocked that people still get caught up in the Democrat Republican thing, where
Right.
they actually have fights with their family over, Biden or Trump. And I'm like, don't you get it? They're all the same. And they all work for the same team. Biden is such a lunatic because look at all the crap that he's putting out there. And I'm like, all these black church folks, are you serious? You're going along with all these dudes in skirts that he's picking, and this friggin' woman who is now the Supreme Court justice, whatever, and she don't like black people. She don't even know if she's a woman. Okay.
Right.
So then with the marching at the same time, I'm just out. I'm with you. I'm just separate because no, it can't make sense where if you're not going to vote, but then you still isn't marching a vote, isn't begging your oppressor. And I thought that our sister, oh my goodness, don't let me, Ashada Shakur pretty much spelled it out. You cannot gain freedom by begging your oppressor to give it to you. Them, you always say, brother, the system works for them.
That was you just went into the second question on make it make sense.
Do I get a bonus?
Oh, yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
$20?
you already went into it. It's like you set up a system in a specific way to oppress me and to kill me and to hold me back and to benefit you.
Uh,
But I'm asking you or demanding of you that you tear that system down,
yeah.
make it make sense. Like I'm always saying, that's like the mice coming to me. Ayapo, all these traps are killing my people.
That,
You need to fix this situation. Fix it. It is fixed. My goal is to kill your rat ass. And so it's working fine for me. As a matter of fact, it's working. Thank you for letting me know that it's working exactly the way that I've set out for it to work. What are you talking about? So, okay, this is the bonus round of make it make sense. All right. This is for all the money. Oh, you didn't have to hide.
oh no, it's that.
No, I know I'm
He
messing with you.
wasn't expecting me to be on up in. Oh no, he kind of did because he did like on my announcement.
Okay, this is for all the money. Now, I was in a relationship with a young lady, and she hurt me pretty bad, right? And then I come to find out that her brother was involved in some gang violence. And as I researched it, I found out that there's like gang violence that's like going on in different cities in the United States, and our people are doing it. And so, like every night, there may be a few people, and every life is precious. But I'm just saying, there's a few people that participate in this activity. The vast majority don't. The vast majority of our people don't do anything. And so, as far as my girlfriend goes, she hurt me pretty bad or whatever, and therefore I think that it makes more sense to me to run into the arms of the people who historically have murdered, oppressed, did the R word, uh, lynched, forced to work for no money, and just this the list just goes on and on and on and continues to work that way. And my solution is to run into their arms, make it make sense for all the money.
Make it make sense. Actually, I realize I'm losing this game because I can't make it make sense. Oh, okay. The swirlers do this so well by saying, well, it was nice talking to you, Brother Yapo, but I gotta go, and you're just bad, bad, bad. That's all. And don't ask me why. That's how you make it make sense. That's the only way, because it makes no sense whatsoever. I don't know when my kid's coming back through.
Yeah,
but
it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, it makes all it is just that these it's their oppressors. When it comes to putting white people into a distinction because they're still in charge, it's a difficult thing to do, because when you're just clinically diagnosing their pathology, they'll make everything seem as if it's an insult, except for the fact that they remain oppressors.
Right.
And it's that's how I know that demonic possession is real, because our energy is Stockholm syndrome, where when we see these dudes, we're so afraid of making them upset, we have taken on their mentality. And so that you don't want to, when it's obvious it's gone too far, you don't want to acknowledge they're vicious. They're vicious. Right. Every single one of them? No, of course not.
Well,
but it's not enough to change our reality.
Right. Well, we had a discussion the other day um, about. Oh, brother, I'm about to lose my thought. But we were discussing what they do individually, and I I thought about something. You know, if you look back in the 40s and the 50s at cartoons and television shows and movies, like the old black and white, especially the sci-fi ones, and you would have like this mad scientist, and they would be, the scientific community laughed at me. Now everyone's going to suffer, and they create something like a doomsday weapon or whatever that could destroy the world or all mankind or whatever, because a handful of people in the scientific community laughed at them. The point I'm making is that when you look at these heads of state, these elected officials, these heads of countries, you may be looking at someone who might have been bullied when they were a child. They
Mm.
might have had someone doing, whatever to them. And then they get in a position of power and they're like, they laughed at me. Now everyone's going to suffer.
You
And
know,
though people might say, that's far fetched, but when someone's telling you who they are, believe them. There's a reason that trope was so active in old sci-fi and old comic books and stuff. Is because it was predominantly white people writing these comic books, and that's the way they think. That's
I
the way.
I I want to add that it with them, it's even more disturbing because I've also just taken an incredible time to watch the murder documentaries of how historically they've always been murdering themselves. In,
Mm-hmm,
I mean, one of because there's so much, but one of the characteristics of many of them is not that they've been abused, is it's I think I can only theorize that they have a dead propensity within themselves. And
mm-hmm.
so sometimes they'll just go to extremes like climbing Mount Everest. Okay, one, two, but now you got lines of them up there. They'll do these really ridiculously dangerous, over the top things, wrestling alligators, whatever, throwing black
Right,
babies to alligators,
right,
because otherwise life for them can feel pretty numb, without meaning, without just satisfaction. Is like, how many songs I can't get no, and
right.
then this is my beautiful
No,
house.
no dancing, no
Yeah, I
dancing.
won't. I won't dance. I promise. That's dangerous up here.
I'm
But
kidding.
in the days gone by, where here's my beautiful house, and it's just kind of like a Babbitt. That's one of the characters that I can't remember the author wrote about, where this middle class to upper middle class white dude was just empty inside.
Right,
And this is a distinctive problem they have. Whereas
right,
we historically, I'm not saying we don't have dysfunction, but without them, we have a heck of a lot less. And we certainly don't spiral into just murderous pogroms just because we're bored and we wonder, what's it like to kill somebody? I never want to know.
right. I I did like this rant last weekend. I think you were there for it. I put it on private because it was just such a rant. But as I as I thought about it, one of the things is that when we look at our own people, we like to use like the crabs in a barrel analogy. And the truth is that like, I walk on the beach just about every morning, and sometimes in the evening, but whatever. And I see crabs all the time, and crabs do not pull at each other. They just don't, because the crabs in a barrel that are
Mm,
pulling on each other are doing it because the natural state of a crab is not a freaking barrel. The
mm.
natural state of a crab is that long beach where all of them are just walking around minding their own business. I have not seen one crab go at another crab. And I say that to say when we talk about crabs in a barrel as black people, the natural our natural state isn't to be on top of each other
Right.
and pushed together and thrown together. And what the better question is, if you look at crabs in a barrel, is who put them in the freaking barrel?
Mm.
You know my favorite study, that 20-year study, and I think it's 22-year study that showed in the middle or in the upper middle class and wealthy sectors over a 22-year period. I think it was 22, but it was no less than 20. It was at least 20, where they also had black people in this study. In 20 years, over 20 years, there was not one black person who committed a homicide. Not one, male or female, in that demographic who committed a homicide. All of it, overwhelmingly, it was like 99% was white people, and the other 1%, they might have been 98% and 2%, but the other 1 or 2% were other, but they weren't black, or they would consider them African American. And the point being, when you remove us from all this dysfunction, from all this mess, we just walk around minding our own business, just like the crabs I was talking about. They just mind their own business and walk around and do what they do, because our natures are not geared that way. But what it says, and they never did another study since then.
Ooh.
While you're talking, I'll find that study and put it in the
please
chat.
Do, because that's as good as also. That was even better than your one where you shared that when they studied according to financial situation our crime rates, the richer we are, the less we murder each other. But while you're looking for that,
it's the same study.
Oh, so that's further on. See, I didn't read the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. It's the same study. But what's striking is that in over 20 years, it was zero.
Wow.
When it came to black people, because they like to try to say that we're just inherently whatever way. It was zero in 20 years.
That's incredible.
But no matter what environment you put them in, they're killing folk and killing each other.
Yes. That's one of the things when I study those different murder documentaries during every era. They were just offing each other. These Merchant and Ivory films where you see them and they're in their wonderful Victorian garb. They were steadily murdering each other. Arsenic was constantly used in order for wives to off their husbands to off their wives. And then you got white women out there who killed all their children because they just got tired of, for whatever reason, just being a mother. So it just they portray that with the media. Oh my goodness, have they done a massive revisionist history on our minds, so that we watch these films, we think it's all Penelope Pit Stop, and that's what a lot of us will just conclude when we go and move in with these people. Like I should edit it together and put it on my new channel. But that story you shared with me of the two brothers who supposedly jumped in off a bridge in, I think it was in Maine, Martha's Vineyard, that a lot of people would jump off because it was used in a Jaws movie, and they both drowned.
Right.
And these young men were from Jamaica and wonderfully, brilliantly, just intelligent, faithful, dedicated strivers. And the older brother went to work in Martha's Vineyard and invited his younger brother up there. Right. And I'm thinking to myself, like so many of these wonderful Black people who, I'm not saying they weren't swirlers or bed bugs from, what I could see, but you don't have to be when you're in the midst of these people and you just have this Disney-fied concept of them. You don't know what you may say, what you being sitting there and you're making money. And his dad back in Jamaica, I think he was building his own house. He owned his own. He's a pastor. He's still with us.
Mm-hmm.
But those two young men are dead, and nobody is ever gonna know why. You don't have to be swirling to be killed by these people. You just got to be in proximity and really clueless about how dangerous that can be. There was another woman who she was shot in the head by her neighbor across the backyard way. And he said, oh, the bullet ricocheted. He was shooting at some cans. And I'm like, no, you doing target practice? You are well acquainted with guns. Right. You know where you're shooting, and that's what the police determined too. But the woman's dead now.
Right.
And as soon as I looked at him, he's one of these beard guys, and he's shooting in the backyard. You should know it's time to leave, even if he moved into your black neighborhood. It's time to move.
And that's that's something Angela and I talk about pretty often. This whole thing of justice for fill in the blank, whatever. And I'm of the opinion you can't get justice after you're dead. You're effing dead.
Oh, yeah.
Justice. I understand what the sentiment is. I understand what they're saying, but justice would be if they were still walking around alive, breathing. And so I don't like the idea of all this marching and all this. It's like I say, what they need to do is just start designing these picket boards where you have justice for whoever, and then like they're doing on the signs now, where it's digital. There's a digital cutout where the name is, so you can just, instead of having to go create a new sign every time, you just come home and type a new name in, and then head right back out the effing door. Because it keeps happening, and it's going to keep happening until we separate.
Yeah.
And the sad part of it is that even after we separate, just like with all of our other towns, here they come. That's the problem. Is we can separate, but here they come. We'll be someplace minding our own business.
Yeah.
They'll be someplace barbecuing in their backyard. I wonder what those ends are doing right now. I think we better check and see what's going on. Can't leave us alone, obsessed. And there's no deny. History proves it. History proves it's not just me saying it. Just look at the history of it.
Yeah, and that's why I'm always I try to be nice to those white people who they don't understand fully. Some of them wind up because they're nice ones who I say, I love that you understand about Fukushima, but please don't comment on my channel anymore. We have to be firm and staunch and unapologetically pro us, so we can say, no, you are not allowed in our borders. Right? Any biracials, I don't know what's going to happen. That's why I know this is all up to the Most High to decide what the final outcome is going to be, because I don't think that we're at that level of strength where we could just, say no, because there's also the issue of the biracials. I'm not like, oh, I don't know. Should we be like, all you biracials stay out? And who's going to do the checking of the DNA, and how you going to tell?
Right, not me.
Not me. I know there's lots of light-skinned black people, and they're black for generations back. I'm not going to be checking all that.
Yeah, I'm not the black police. I am one of these people who. A biracial person is a biracial person. A black person is a black person. That said, if a person is biracial, and I don't know anything unless you say it to me. And if you identify as black and you're with, and you're with the struggle and you're with the people, I don't know jack except what you're telling me, and that's what I go with.
Exactly. Same here.
And as that's what I go with. But then if you start, trying to impose something on me, insist that I know, and then I start saying something that I don't believe in, that's when we're gonna start bumping heads. But up
Exactly.
until then, you can identify as being black, or you can identify as being white if you're able to, quote unquote pass. What it's your choice, but you're still biracial. But
Exactly.
as
And
I said, if I don't know, I'm not the black police where well, let me see your card or whatever. Who am I? I'm
mhm.
just a guy out here. I went real quick. I want welcome Raw Reality, and I think it's Drea. And forgive me if I'm saying
Yes, everybody, and I'm reading your
it.
comments as we're going, and we're talking. I agree with you, Sister Gwen B, that it might not have just been a coincidence that we finished both books at this time, given all
Right,
that's happening around.
right, and please, everyone who's in the chat, this is something I actively do during chats. I go and check other people's. I'll like highlight their name to see if they have a channel. If they have a channel, then I subscribe. Then if they tell
Hmm.
me crazy, then I I unsubscribe. But if they talking sense, then I subscribe. I know Gwen B has a wonderful channel, like you said the other day. She doesn't post a lot, but when she posts, it's powerful. And
Yeah.
I thank you, Gwen, for the review of Melanin. It was wonderful. I'm
Mm.
looking forward to you leaving one on Amazon now. But uh, Mr. Pirate Brain has a channel. He makes music on there. I'm always after him because the last thing I heard from him um, has been a while, and
Mm.
he gave me a link the other day. I couldn't find it, but Mr. Pirate Brain, number one, thank you for your music. He makes good music, and he said on your other video before your channel got pulled down, he was like, if you need, I think he said trap music.
Yes. I don't know if
That,
it's trap or I don't do. I'm not. I'm don't do the
well,
trap music, but then
don't,
again, I like the beats.
yeah, don't take it as gospel because
Hmm.
he'll put it in the chat what kind of music he was talking about. I couldn't remember which, but he said he put together some beats for you or make beats for you. And Unsunken One, I think you have a channel. Everybody just check to see who has a channel because we need to support each other.
That's right. Right
And
now more than
even
ever.
and even if the channels get pulled, Sister Ajali's channel got pulled, but because we had developed a relationship, I knew how to get. We know how to get hold of each other
Right.
outside of this construct.
Right.
So we just need to be able to stay in touch with each other, know what each other's doing, and so on. Especially if we're moving and doing great things, making music or writing books, or even there's a brother that does mathematics I've started following. I'm gonna have to find his channel and put in the link, but because of what I'm trying to, I'm teaching myself quantum mechanics. So, I need to get my math skills stronger.
Mm.
Oddly, quantum mechanics doesn't take as much math as I thought it did. It's a lot of geometry and uh, not trig, but there's another kind of math that it is.
Calculus.
Yeah, calculus.
Okay.
And it's more of that than I know. But I'm no genius. I'm mostly listening to their. I'm mostly listening to and learning by rote, where I keep hearing it over and over, and then it just starts clicking and clicking and clicking. Unlike you, who for Furnace of Affliction, it's not like you sat in a year or 6 months and started writing a book. You've been researching this for over a decade,
Yeah.
and anything that I don't care who you are or what you're researching. I hear people talk about hip hop or sports teams, and they can tell you all kinds of stats and the different players from decades back and all this stuff because they have studied it. They
Right.
didn't go to school for it. They studied it, so they know what they're talking about. And so
Right.
the same principle. I, as soon as I hear radiation, I think Sternglass. I've never even read his book. I just know Sternglass
That's
because
a good thing.
because of listening to your channel and seeing your work and reading your work. So I just said that to say, when it comes to Furnace of Affliction, which is arguably your most important book, you know what you're talking about. You've researched it, you've studied it, and you didn't do a bunch of YouTube studying. You cracked the books open by the authorities. And the beautiful part of that is that you've learned enough. Like, I'll put it like this: I know enough about computers that if I walk into a computer store and there's somebody trying to BS me, I know they're BSing me because I know computers. I can build one, I can tear one down and build one and program it, do some rudimentary programming. Now, I used to be able to program the crap out of one, but I could tell when people were talking crap. And that's that point where you are right now. When somebody's a shill, you're like, they're a freaking shill because I know better. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. Or the average layman wouldn't know. But you have the floor.
No, that's astounding, because I take what I've learned very not lightly. I know how important the subject matter is, but I didn't expect myself to become as well educated in nuclear physics as I have become. But I take Black us that seriously, that and I could feel the force of when I just said that. I just felt all that emotion, all that connection to all of us. That's my catalyst. That's what keeps me saying, and I got over that hurdle where I was like, oh, can I read these books? This is going to be boring. I don't think I could, delve into this as deeply as it must be. And I just said, no, you have to. You have no choice.
Right.
So that I would just pick up the books, and then suddenly I discovered I understand this stuff. So when I think about it, I think that has to be Allah, that has to be Yah, because He's set things up in this regard. And I'm somebody who, up to 10 years ago, I was counting on my fingers. And so I'm not somebody who, even though I love science, I never thought that I was going to just be, like natural at understanding what other people really just get all verklempt over or upset over. I didn't know I had a natural acumen for it. So yes, that's because of us that I found that.
That's awesome. Right. Let me, Mr. Pirate Brain said that he does house music and lo-fi music. He said, I don't do trap.
Oh, I like that.
He ain't about all that noise.
Okay.
So I apologize for that. He said, I don't do the. He said, I'm 61. I'm not in the trap age. Yeah, I'm with you on that. So,
and I wanted to respond to Brother Roar Reality.
Oh, please do.
Yeah, you're saying, do I have an email contact? Yes, I do. And let me try to get over to the chat box on YouTube, and I'll put that in there. Let's see. The Radical Sister at Outlook.com. That's one. And then the other one that I just started, I'm going to just give this out there. It's also the Radical Sister at gmail.com. The second one I'll probably be at more often. The Outlook one, I have to say, I haven't gone to my Outlook lately. But the Gmail one, because all the other systems are run off of Google, if you need to contact me there, I'm going to see your message.
Okay. So, Sister Ajali, do you still have access to your content, and specifically and I'm sure you do, but specifically your reading of This Black Nation?
Oh,
will you be
yes, I do.
that?
And I have almost all of my content from all of my channels, because long ago I saw what they were doing, and I spent, I think it was about 2.5 solid days just
Mhm.
downloading everything. And
Smart.
so I have all of that. And I should put, that's another thing, I should re-put up This Black Nation on this little channel. Um, that's not, I'm not, I'm not upset. That's the whole thing. I'm just like, look, I know who they are to us. And so I just like, I'm going to get out and do readings and do face to face with people because it's necessary. There's no way around it. I don't think that there's anybody who we take seriously. And I mean, it's a whole new idea that we can, you know, separate and build ourselves up on a computer system. I don't think it's going to be possible.
I agree. And uh, Sister Ajali's books, This Black Nation, and Furnace of Affliction are all available on Amazon in both digital and hard copy. They're also available on 25,000yearcycle.net. That's 25,000 yearcycle.net, not .com, and they're available for a significant discount. They explain which ones are e-books and which ones are the physical, and also how to get them signed.
This Black, you could get the physical copy only on Amazon, but the price we put down to $20. And you could get it as an ebook on both Amazon and on 25,000yearcycle.net for $10. And then you can get Furnace of Affliction as an ebook or in a physical copy at 25,000yearcycle.net for, I don't want to quote, I do believe it's $35 for the physical copy. And the book is, the ebook is less than that, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one, This Black Nation, you can only for the moment get it as a physical copy off of Amazon. My king ordered a bunch of books so that we could go out and I could, send out the books through the mail. And it's been over 2 weeks and they haven't sent them to us yet. I don't know. I'm still waiting to see. Are we going to get these books? Because that's like, I don't know if I know sooner or later they're going to have to, according to them, get into book banning. And they already have lots of different books that are banned. None of them are the ones that are destroying our children, though. But yeah, I say get the books now while you still can. Get them far more easily. I'm figuring if they stop them all together, we have printers. We'll get a better printer and we'll print it ourselves. We have a friend who does bookbinding. Well, but that's going to be really expensive rather than just getting it from Amazon or from us.
Right.
And
And you signed my request.
Brother Raw Reality, you said, have I considered it? Yes, I do want to set up my own website. I've seen one dude, Nathaniel, I can't remember, he used to be Jewish and he became Catholic, and he's a little racist, but I'm just saying, not against well, maybe the Jews would feel that he was. I don't want to say any more about that. But I want to do that so that I can speak completely freely. And I really won't change, but so much because I don't wish harm on anybody for real. That's even in my books. But unfortunately, I have to build up capital. So that's why I'm like, I got to get out and start meeting with the people, because face to face, I think in the internet, you feel like, oh, I don't really have to go and buy her or Brother Yapo's books right now. And so you hear it, but you don't kind of hear it. And whereas when I'm out in public with people, the response is immediate. When I speak at the STEP program, everybody's just like, oh, I didn't know it was that bad. And then they're looking for my books. And, brother came up and bought 2 on the spot. And I'm just like, wow, I wish it were this easy online, but it's not, because we've been talked into just not trusting each other. And on this internet platform, that's an easier conclusion to stick with rather than hearing what we're actually saying.
Right. And so, uh, and the books that are purchased through 25,000yearcycle.net, uh, are those? I ask you this every time.
Yes, they're
I don't
signed.
answer. Are those signed by request?
Yeah, we ship them out. And working with my king, because I stopped it just in time with the soap, because I could tell I was getting exhausted because I wasn't doing it in a way that was efficient. So that it took me a whole freaking day to wrap up the soap and put it in a box. And I love doing that for each person, but a certain like subconscious part of me was like, look, I'm getting tired, girl. So I stopped it before I messed up people's orders completely. But one beautiful sister, that was the only one where I did not do the right thing. And she know. And also that I'm going to more than make up for that. But anyway, working with my king, it changes everything because he's about the business. That brother is just he on point. When you see him looking all serious in his shares that he does on his YouTube or Instagram, that's who he is. He's on point. So when we get an order at 25,000 year cycle, I jump, and I get that book wrapped up that very minute, and it is out in the mail the very next day. So you're going to get your book, and I'm going to sign it, even whether people ask for it or not. I'm just going to put a little brief statement in there. So if that is something, you value, then that's a really good thing.
Awesome. My book is called Melanin, a novel, and it is available on Amazon.com. It's also available at Barnes and Noble. On Barnes and Noble right now, it's only available as an ebook or for the Nook, and on Amazon, it's available both as an ebook for the Kindle, and you don't need a Kindle to read it. You can read it from anything that you download the Kindle app onto, and it's also available as a paperback, and I'm presently working on the hardback. But right now it's available in the paperback edition. It has so far has a 5-star review. It's only one review, but it is a 5-star. And no, I didn't write it. And that's about it. Also, you also may want to visit my website. Easy to remember, ayapoyapa.com. That's it. And my website, it shows the books that I've completed. I've completed 4 novels, not 4 novels. I've completed 2 novels, 1 book of short stories in the genre of theoretical ebb and fiction, and a novella. And they're going to be like, we're kind of staggering them as we're, to release them. We want to release them all at one time. So Melanin is the first to come out, and then my second book, And What of the Cargo, will be coming out. And then after that, well, it may be not What of the Cargo. It may be Paradigm Void, which is the short story book that may come out first, and then The Redemption of Maxine Allison. And after that, there are several other books that I'm working on, and you can see all the books that I'm working on the website, ayapoyapa.com. Also, if you go on there, you can see some of my cartoon work, and you can hear some of my music. There's a totally separate section that opens up into a site for my music. You may think it sucks. You may like it. I don't do it professionally. It's my hobby, and I just like to do it to relax. I'm not trying to sell any music or anything. I'm not that good. But I do tend to like
stop. I listen to your music. It was wonderful.
Sister Ajali listens to my music because I pay her. And like I said, my cartoons are up there. And there's also an Easter egg. There's a couple Easter eggs in the site that open up to 2 hidden sites within that website. And you have to find them. It's not like it's really hard to hunt around for. If you're Angela laughed at me. You think they're hard to find?
Yeah. Yes, said the man who built his own computer.
Well,
Mama Angela, peace to you.
Peace. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good. I'm glad to
Good.
hear that.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. Oh, I'm probably yelling
No,
into the
it's all
mic
right.
because I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm doing good. We just got back from some traveling, my mom and I, and life is
Oh,
good. The book is out. We're, sharing it with people. People are responding. It's a beautiful book. Hi,
mm,
Wendy.
mm.
And Sister Ajali and I are running neck and neck. I don't know if it's still like that. I just know that both of us were ahead of Walter Mosley.
Yes, I
That
know.
just messed me up to
That
see
was
that.
intense. That was,
That
I think I dropped out of there, but the beautiful thing about it is that each person who buys it, we are sending a global protest that is visible, because there's only so many people involved in Black science fiction. I love what you call it, theoretical even fiction.
hmm
Um, it, you buy one book and you propel both of us up into the top 100 sellers. So if two people buy it, three people buy it, we'll be going neck and neck like number one and number two. And
right.
I sympathize with you over your number two rating, but I really do support you.
Well, you know what? You may be a number one, and I may be a number two, but at least I know how to hang the toilet paper.
You funny. I'm gonna let you go with that one. Now, I mean, I'm not leaving. I'm saying, but yeah, I'm gonna let you get away with that one.
Yeah, I'm about to put the link in the chat. So I saw you, Mr. Pirate Brain. I also see you, Jay Smooth.
And I saw you, Unsunken One. Hi, I'm about to leave. See y'all later.
Oh, yes. And sister, you're writing too. I can't wait to read your book.
Oh, I can't wait to share them.
Mm,
I'm just plugging away at what I'm working on. It's a few projects,
I
so
love
yeah, I'm
it.
excited to share them.
And that's exactly what we need. People who love us and people who are about us and us loving, who are producing work for us. It's like, when Fubu came out, I was all excited. I was like, oh man, for us, by us. And then
Right.
when I saw where the money was going, I was like, bruh, you funneling the money back to the white folks?
Mm,
Because I can't remember if it was his, I don't know if it was his wife or his girlfriend was white. I was like, dude, what, for us, by us?
mm.
I guess it only stands for the name brand. I'm talking about black. I'm talking about pro-black people who love black love and love each other and love our people, creating things for our people. Because when you read it, you know that you're going to be seeing for love, honor, and respect
Mm.
for our people in these books and in whatever media, even with Mr. Pirate Brain and his music, you know that there's going to be a respect for our people. You're not going to walk in and hear a whole bunch of mess or see a whole bunch of mess.
Mm.
And that is so important. I can't emphasize how important that is. Getting control of our own narrative. I'm gonna drop the link for my website and for Amazon. And and
Please, yes.
and sister, you can go on and take the mic while I'm doing that.
Oh, I'm reading Melanin right now, and Brother Yabo has just an accessible Ernest Hemingway style, and he has that pragmatic, just it's all so real because it's all so plausible, and he just gets right to the point where the characters, the dialogue, everything is so authentic and it's so satisfying because you're looking at our oppressor suddenly having to confront the reality, the physical and scientific biological reality of melanin, which is something that's why I'm tired of watching all this entertainments because they're always trying to present themselves as these heroes and champions. but they'll just thwart the actual science of it. Whereas, he saw the movie White Man's Burden with Harry Belafonte and John Travolta, and he, just like me, and I know millions and millions of us, were really upset that, wait a minute, you mean we are in charge, but we're as bad as the white people were? That doesn't make any logical sense. Otherwise, we would have
Right.
done this to them centuries ago. So
just
to
real
have
quick,
that, go ahead, brother.
just real quick, I see Cap PY2 entered the chat.
Please, Cap.
It's been a minute. I'm gonna have to give you a call, brother. That's it. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. I just wanted to stop because I saw him come in.
Okay, yeah, because because you give me compliments, and so now it's payback. And so that is just such it helps you to suspend your disbelief even more when something is believable. That's not fantasy, that's Ebon speculative fiction. So that you can then fall into the storyline and feel yourself being presented. And so that's, like I'm going to get the three-dimensional copy, because right now I'm just reading it on my desktop, and that's really hard when I'm tired and I want to lay down and just, yeah. So I got to get the paperback, and so that I could just read and read and read and read and read. But yeah, that's it's just accessible. It's right there for you. And it's a brilliant analysis. Our brother, he's been writing comments on our channels for the longest. And I've never seen anybody write as long comments as he does. And people, they'll be like after like, and people going, you nailed it. That's him. Him, only in a story that just draws you in, because it's a dance. It's beautiful. For me, if I could, I would just read his books. I'd read all of our books all day long, because I'm through with them. I don't need them anymore. I just want to be in my little log cabin saying, yeah, I really do miss electricity, but I sure love us building joyfully more.
Right. All I can say is, let's see, Gwen B has read Melanin, and she knows about Ryan, the brother you love to hate.
I know about Ryan. I wasn't good with names, so when you say Ryan, I was thinking Klaus.
Ryan is brother. I'm trying not to give anything away.
Yeah, don't give anything. Ryan is just he Ryan has the most popular channel.
He has some issues that need to be solved.
Yeah.
But I enjoy. I think I told you this before, but I enjoy writing the character because I hate him so much. I hate him.
Shh, don't say anymore.
I do. So Gwen's laughing. She knows. I know it's hard not to do spoilers.
Yeah, I know. Because that's I feel like people are purchasing the books, so I don't want to spoil the surprise for them. I know with This Black Nation, it also has really just a flip around that, like you were saying, when it comes to the writing, sometimes the characters will come in and tell you, no, that's not what I'm doing. And I don't mean physically, but just the way you put them together, you realize that I may have my own agenda, but the storyline makes better sense. And then also we have a responsibility to our family. And so there are certain characters that I wanted to, I'm going to tear that one limb from limb. And then as I was going, I said, no, you have to ponder the fact that this is a dysfunction that's been just hoisted on us. So you have to see them in a different way.
Right. I want to say to Gwen, I'm talking directly to Gwen now. Gwen, did I ever send you the lost chapter? Now, if you've purchased the book already, then you're going to know that chapter 8 didn't exist in it when you read it. because Gwen was one of the beta readers, and she commented on the book and helped to do some of the shaping of it. So, and I'm just really appreciative of that, because we have several beta readers, and it's like it's like anything Black people do. When we collaborate, that it makes things so much better, and it's so helpful. And the purpose of the beta readers, if someone does, if everyone doesn't know, is they read kind of like a first or second draft of the book, and when they read it, then they give feedback on it, and it helps you to shape the book. It's kind of like showing a movie to a test audience, and then they leave some stuff in, or they take some stuff out based on that to form the book up, or form the movie up a little more. And that's the same purpose that beta readers serves. So what you suggested was, without giving anything away, what you suggested ended up actually being in the book. Angela also contributed to it. The part didn't even exist, and now, just because of that part, it's the sequel starts with the premise that they were talking about, and so that's just awesome. So thank you for that. She said, I did not have the lost chapter. I'll read it in the new version. Do you want me to send it to you? So you know what? I said, do you want me to send it to you? And then I kind of like turned my ear to the thing like she was going to say something.
You funny.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, well, you can read what her response is. She says she has it.
Oh, you have it? Okay, then you'll notice chapter 8 is like totally new. It wasn't there when you read it the first time. So that's about it. That's about it for that. I know Unsunken One. There's some stuff. I still laugh when I hear people say, I got that on tape. Like they're like shooting something with their cell phone. I got that on tape. What are you talking? There's no tape in there. It's digital. And people are still saying, they got things on tape. I mean, it's hard to break out of that stuff. People still talk about like Xeroxing a copy or whatever. I'm like, Xerox is the name of the company. That's not that created. I think it's more specifically IBM. But it's just interesting how some terms just don't die. Like I said, it cracks me up when I hear people say that. Yeah, I got they taped it. Everything's digital. There's no tape on it.
Right. That actually is one of the core themes in This Black Nation is, how you just get stuck in a thought train, and it's not so easy to stop yourself from reaching conclusions that are not helpful to you or to anyone else. So that's part of that whole automatic, we must be the worst people on the planet, the type of rhetoric is they trust and they know that it's just automatic. When you're a child, you learn what designates someone as successful and what designates someone as a failure and a loser. And you hold on to those ideas for your whole life. It's really hard to step away from that programming. That's why they go after the children so viciously, because they want to get that patterning, like with ducks, where as soon as they see Mama Duck, they follow her. But if there's a big old human in front of them, they think that's Mama Duck.
Well, there's something I said to one of my instructors. This was years ago, and we were just talking about language. And I said, a word only exists to the degree that is necessary. Like even as short as 10 years ago, there was no such word as emoji. But now everybody hears it, everybody knows what it is, but there was no need for the word because an emoji didn't exist. I said that to say, I want to say it was Dr. Amos Wilson who said this, but he was talking about going and meeting with some African tribes. I can't remember which country, and he said that they didn't have a word for steal. Like someone steals something, theft. They said they didn't have a word for that, and that they didn't have a word for murder. And based upon the necessity of a word being so that it's universally understood by whoever's talking, if you don't have a word for something, that means that there's no need for that word. And he just went over a few words that these societies they went into just did not have words for, and said that they didn't even learn these words until they were brought to these shores, because it was just unfamiliar to them.
It was, the way these guys are, it's like we were just kidnapped into Elm Street. I forget what year, the horror show where Freddy Krueger shows up and just takes us right into the middle of a gore scene.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think on things like that. I think on things like when you have the man go into the middle of the tribe and say, what is a woman? And
I love that clip you shared with me. Oh yes, please talk.
Right. And they were like, what are you talking about? What's a woman? And then they gave their, just like they're straight. I'm not going to say how they said it, but just straightforward, this is a woman and this is a man. And then he started talking about, well, what if you're transgender? Or what if you're, what? And they didn't know what he was talking about. They didn't know what he was talking about.
And they said that's a man with a problem.
Right, exactly. Right. I don't. It was one of the elders of the tribe. I know that much. And he said, yeah, that means they have some kind of a mental problem. Yeah. The point being that, just like I've been saying for years, the closer we are in proximity to them, the more insane we become.
Yes.
And the further away we get, the more sane we become, and the more clear our minds are. And that's the thing. You can call them savages or backward if you want, but their minds are clear AF. Mm-hmm. Their minds are clear.
And they surely wouldn't have destroyed the planet.
Right. I saw clips of tribes that were eating meat. They were eating some of it, I guess you would put in the category of venison or whatever, that they went out and killed, and they were eating it, and they were drinking some of the blood, and they were eating it raw, and they don't get sick. They don't get parasites and all that stuff, because where they're going, there's not a bunch of chemicals. There's not a bit. I don't eat meat, but I'm just saying they're eating off the land.
Right. That's a huge difference.
Right. It wasn't Republic of Congo, but it was someplace like that, like deep in where they didn't have contact with anybody, and they were doing just fine. And wouldn't you know, this white man who was doing it, because there's always some white guy that's showing up to do this. Mm-hmm. He was bringing them like Skittles and and letting them try it. Some of them liked it, some of them didn't. But I'm like, dude, don't be introducing that crap to our people. That's what y'all do. Every place you do and everything you touch turns to crap.
Yes.
Leave them alone. They're doing just fine. They're doing just fine eating their uncooked meat and not getting sick from it.
Mm-hmm. That's what their bodies have been acclimated over the millennia to do. Right. So like if we went and did that, we'd probably be laid out or whatever. But I'm just saying that they always, I think of Western society as the first thought-born cancer. Sister Gwen just said that, even talking with them. Is its own corruption. It's its own infestation. And I wish that weren't the case, but it's like, why would you give Skittles to people who their whole lives have never eaten anything processed garbage like that? That's not being nice to them.
Right. He was giving them Kit Kats and all, and some of them liked it, but shoot, the stuff is made. I am not going to sit here and lie before y'all and say that potato chips don't taste good to me. And I love corn chips.
Exactly.
I ain't going to sit here and lie and say they don't taste good. They're supposed to taste good, so you keep eating them and clog up your body. You know, so
we got what are these things? I forget. My king and I will go and we'll get organic. But this is still cheese doodles.
Right. Right. I think, man, do not bring any corn chips around Ayapo or you're not going to get any of them. And I don't care how big the bag is. If you want to shut down a Frito factory, take me up in there and they'll be gone.
I know.
Because
You have
I
no idea.
love me some corn chips.
My king keeps bringing these things in, and it's taken me years to get to the point where that bag has been there. I don't know, maybe about a week and a half.
Uh-huh.
And I haven't been snacking and overeating or anything. I just leave it there because I have realized I value my health and my fitness more than that 1 second taste sensation. That doesn't mean it doesn't taste delicious.
Right. That's like I said, corn chips. But I've already told you the story a million times. But I was a seafood feed. If it came out the water, I was eating. I told somebody, I was like, shoot, if it came out doggone toilet and it was some fish, I was eating. I love seafood and fish. And after I found out about Fukushima, that was over with. I mean, I saw your shares, but I didn't just take it at face value. I started doing the research. And after I did the research, I was like, yeah, no.
Thank you.
I'm not eating this crap anymore. But I told you about the one fillet of fish.
I know you did. I was about to say anything.
Yeah, right. They said, yeah, you got the worst thing. And you're right. I wouldn't got the worst thing I could get. But that was like 2 or 3 years ago. And after that, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. I don't play roulette, and it's just, I have no way to test the food.
Yes.
So it's bad enough that you're just eating fruits and vegetables that haven't been tested. Because I don't have any way to test them. I can just go by what I know. But getting something out the ocean, that's a whole different thing. It's like saying, I don't go to nightclubs. And you're not gonna catch me in a nightclub at 3:00 in the morning. Yeah, I could get into a fight or something happen to me just walking down the street, but my chances go up exponentially if I'm in a bar at 3:00 in the morning and everybody in there is drunk. So I eat my fruits and vegetables. I can't test them. I've become like really prone to making banana and pineapple smoothies. I drink one of those about once a day. But I'll have that. But when it comes to meat, I'm a vegetarian. I haven't gone full vegan yet. But you do the best you can do, and you do it incrementally. When I got off sugar, I didn't even realize I was off of it. And I wasn't trying to get off of it. I just noticed that it stopped. And
have you noticed any changes in your strength or?
I dropped like 80 pounds.
Wow! See, we need to see you now.
Yeah, I think you've seen me. I've dropped like 80 pounds. And
okay, maybe I don't think so. Not.
I'll have to go on camera so people can see it.
Right.
But there's that, and one of the reasons I don't go on camera right now is because the bandwidth is so janky here. But my neighbor's janky internet, cheapskate. So
Sister Gwen B says she wants me to write a cookbook, and I was talking with my king about that, and I don't know if he's coming in. I don't think he is. I really don't cook anymore. I don't eat only raw food, but I'm really just stuck on my salads. I have this just masterpiece of a salad, every single day. And I vary some of the ingredients, but it's so delicious. When I did the share where I was like, I eat pizza every day, literally, that's what it is for me. It's like I got a whole pizza pie and I just slice it back, and I'm just, ooh. So I don't think that I would do an interesting cookbook because it would be disingenuous, as I don't cook. I don't bake even anymore. I would probably be better doing a baking book, but I don't do any of that anymore. Everything I eat is real simple. It's nuts, it's dried fruit, it's nothing. What I thought I could do is I could do a cookbook before the cookbook. That I might do, because there's a lot of little traps in the language of how they have the different recipes up there, like canola oil. As soon as I see a recipe, and it could be even on a vegan site, and they say canola oil, I'm like, they don't know what the heck they're talking about. And they're going to get you in trouble as soon as they recommend, using olive oil. And when you're cooking, and I know it has a very low temperature gradient so that it's actually creating acrylamides because it's reached its smoke temperature as you're cooking with it. Olive oil, I love olive oil, it's so delicious, but you use it as a seasoning after you cook. So there's all sorts of things that way that I know that can assist in people even getting radiation out. And so that would be better for me to do, because the cooking thing, I don't even do it anymore.
Real quick, Angela's going to come in for a moment and take my
please do. Yes.
And I told her, because it's kind of like an open discussion now. And so here's Angela.
Yay!
Okay. Hi again. I don't want to interrupt.
You're not interrupting, you're adding. How can adding be an interruption?
Okay. I want the radical sister to write a cookbook.
I'm human.
Says Gwen B. Wow, congratulations, Ayapo, says the unsunken one. I'm just trying to get up to speed. The research is not hidden. It's real easy to find and verify. All right. I heard about the tsunami when it happened, but not what happened to those nuclear reactors. They've hidden things so well. Yeah. All right.
What?
So,
you got
reading the comments out loud, trying to get up to speed on what was going on.
Okay.
So
that was it. You aren't going to say add to the conversation, sister?
Oh, I mean, I was just trying to get up to speed, keep the conversation going, and I'll add. I didn't even know what was going on, what was being discussed. I apologize for interrupting.
No, it's not an interruption at all. We were just having a conversation. The focus of it is over that they took all my channels down, and but it is what it is. I'm challenged. That's what I would say. With them doing this, I'm like looking at them and saying, yo, dudes, you don't understand. When you have people who are dedicated to and who are just done with madness, those are people who don't stop. I never wanted to write a book. I never wanted to do any of the things I do. I'm just like, no, they've gone too far.
Right. And they've been gone too far. But the thing is they can't stop truth. They can't stop natural. They can't stop nothing that's real and honest and authentic and good. So, even if any one of us gets tired and stop, that doesn't stop truth and God and good. So,
amen. That is so right, sis. That's so right.
Yeah. So it's kind of an intense situation that we find ourselves in, or I don't even know. Some people believe that we've created it, but I don't know. But we just do our best and to stay encouraged and to stay focused and to do the right thing and to stay in justice and in correctness.
Right. I think to a certain extent that is because the devil comes from us. And I know in the Nation of Islam, there is the story of Yaqub. Mm-hmm. And when I think about white people and how it got here and how it's to a natural derivation doesn't match the physiology of it because they burn in the sun. I don't know any creatures that are supposed to be outside in the open and they burn within 15 minutes. So I do, there's certain portions of the Yaqub story that I'm like, it sounds like they were selectively bred. But outside of that, when I think about if it were possible that that was wholly true, what would be the reason that people would say, you know, I want to develop a different kind of people from all these Black people I'm with? And I think that's because what family is perfect? I'm not saying we were as bad as they are now, but I'm just saying that there was a certain level of perfecting that maybe some of us were so comfortable, because we could do that. When we get stubborn, ain't nobody more stubborn than we are. And we might have been stubborn and comfortable with a certain amount of, you know, just dysfunction. Not terrible, but enough that would propel some people to say, you know what, I want to create a whole new type of people. And we're the first people who bred anything. We bred cats. We bred, you know, animals so that they could be in an enclosure as we, you know, benefited. Like you see them on the Serengeti with their big giant herds of cows. So I'm just, you know, I'm just thinking that, yeah, they come from us, but we're not them. They're purified, and we are just living.
And I think, I mean, I'm familiar a little bit with the Yaqub story, but and I feel like I don't even know if sometimes when you're curious about something and you're exploring something, you don't necessarily know what the outcome is. Like anyone can make a mistake. You can try something and think, this might be interesting. Let me see what happens if I just selectively breed. And then, you know, before you know, you have the demons on your hand. Right. So, I mean, you know, we live and we learn. And in the scope of, I'm about to get up because Ayapo is back, but in the scope of, you know, in the scope of my lifetime, 500 years of madness and craziness seems like forever.
I know. Oh my God.
It's a relatively small amount of time. And, you know, I feel like we're learning and coming to understand, you know, slowly but surely some things about, you know, the reality of what and who they are. And so we'll be able to respond accordingly.
And that's the thing is that I always am saying we've won. I know that we have. It's our victory to walk away from. But when a society, even historically, when its time comes, nothing can stop it. And when a society, when it's over for them, nothing can stop that either. So all the different things that they're doing at this point in time, a bigger juggernaut than their negativity is us falling in love with our Blackness and starting to look at each other and see, wait a minute, I'm hating on this. Why? Do you see how we move? Do you see how we speak to one another? Do you see how we think? And it's not possible for them to put that back in the bottle, because everything they do, the more censorship that they enact, the more I see people saying, wait a minute, what you doing? No,
because what they're doing isn't sustainable. So, you know, it's not sustainable. It's not going to last forever because it can't. It's not God. You know, God is so yeah. It's
how you going to sexualize children? You must be crazy.
Right. Hi, Ayapo.
Hey.
Well, oh my God, this is wonderful, Sister Angela.
That's what happens when you marry the 3 B's.
What are the 3 B's?
Black, beautiful, and brilliant.
Oh.
That's the truth. That's the truth. I'm because when I listen to you two and you doing your conversation, Sister Angela, you be blasting any lunacy apart. You are very, very precise in your analysis.
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's just a reflection of us. You know, we're in conversation with one another, and we, you know, bounce off of each other, and that's how we grow and develop.
That's true, but don't deflect. Don't deflect. You're brilliant.
she is
I'm in good company and I'm a reflection of my people. Shoot, that's all that is.
That's
right. Absolutely brilliant woman. You know, Sister Ajali, I don't know. I kind of wanted to open up it. I kind of wanted to open up the chat and
Yes.
invite some people in. Does
Yes.
anybody want to come in? If you want to come in, put a one. I'll just post the link. If you want to come in, go on and come in. Because this is my first time doing this. I'm just playing with the thing now. So.
And nobody may, but if anybody does, it'd be wonderful.
So let me.
Okay, goodbye again.
Oh, you leaving?
Peace, sister.
Peace.
On that midnight to Georgia. Leaving on that midnight train to Georgia.
On that midnight train to Georgia.
So you going back to find? Hey, going back to find a simpler place and time. Well, Lord be with you. I know it will. On that midnight train to Georgia. She leaving on the midnight train to Georgia.
All right. I don't know. That's a black couple thing there. I ain't getting in the middle of that.
I'd rather live in her world than live without her in mine.
Well. I don't want to dance. I'll get me in trouble.
My mom played a hole into that record.
Oh. Who did not love Gladys Knight and the Pips?
Yeah.
That was just every song was just, that's what you did. So while you're waiting, I need to just do a quick beeline and then I'll come right back. So it's Sister Gwenby. Sister Gwenby, I want to hear what you got to say. Don't say anything yet. Can you hold on just 1 second?
I'll talk to her while you.
Okay, come back. And then I'll be right back. Okay.
All right. Peace to you, Sister Gwenby. How are you?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. And here's Mr. Pirate Brains just came in. Mr. Pirate Brain, are you there?
I can see him. I can see his avatar.
I can see him. I can't hear him.
What I did was I got two screens open and I put one of them on mute. I put the one that's on YouTube on mute because I think that's the one that's a few seconds slower than the StreamYard screen.
Okay,
at least that's what I think I'm doing.
Okay, that'll work. Hold on a second. I want to make sure Mr. Pirate Brain has that. You have audio? Yeah, I don't hear him.
All I did was plug in a mic. You do need to plug in a mic, but you don't need to plug in a camera.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I just re-added them to the stream and unmuted the mic. See if that makes a difference.
I think.
and I'm just now learning StreamYard, so I
can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, yes.
I can hear you now. Okay, so I'll let Gwen go and then Mr. Pirate Brain. Mr. Pirate Brain's in here, Sister Ajali.
I see. I'm so excited. I've never had a conversation with you, brother.
Me either. Okay.
Yeah, we haven't.
Okay. Queen Gwenby, you have the floor.
I am so honored to be living in this age where two such writers as you guys are writing books and putting it down on paper, and I'm getting to read it. I know we are living in all hell breaking loose, but this is a bright light, and I don't think you guys have any idea how important your work is.
I'll keep on spitting that truth.
Okay, I guess y'all do have an idea, but it is that important. We're living in a historical time, and you two stepped up, and the rest of us got to catch up because we got to do our part, myself included. So don't think for 1 second I'm being light on myself, but you guys have knocked it out of the park down the street and across the planet with both of y'all's books. I'm currently reading Sister Ajali's This Black Nation, and I'm taking a long time to read it because first I got to read it, right? And then I got to savor it. So I got to think about what I just read, and might take an extra half hour. And then I got to read it again to look at how wonderful she wrote it again. And then I got to read it again to pick up where the storyline is. And that's how I'm doing on almost every page, several times a page. Okay. And so when I first started it, I started writing down little notes that I was making to myself about what I was reading. And I'm on page 200 and something now. Everything is so cool in there.
Oh, wow.
It is a fun read. I mean, I be reading it with my face hurting because I'm smiling so much.
Wow.
That's all right.
Because it is a fun read. They're doing fun stuff. The line 1, chapter 1 is one of my all-time favorite top 3 lines in a book so far. There are 3 lines in a book, 3 books that I'm picturing. This is one of my my third list of my top favorite lines reading the book.
Wow. So can you share that?
Yeah, what's
you want to hear what line 1, chapter 1 was on This Black Nation?
Yeah,
I sure will, because I don't want to spoil it. Okay, let me pull it up. I guess I would love it.
Oh my, wow.
Okay, line 1, chapter 1 in This Black Nation. Okay. I'm on page 228 in the book. So let me get on there, and then I'm going to go all the way back to chapters and go to chapter 1. Because it is a line that put me right in the red past all the energy. Okay. It's unfortunately you need to read it too, because you got to read how she wrote it. But she wrote it as, "Y'all trifling pro-blacks aren't about to turn me into a traitor to the United States." But she spelled "y'all trifling" as one word, is in quotes. And
that is actually yeah, that's the typo. I gotta go and
I love it. Don't do nothing to it.
Oh, okay.
No, that's perfect. Because I pictured this lady talking. She was in my head. She's standing up shouting.
Right.
And it's written no, don't change that.
Okay.
Don't change none of those unique spellings and words that you got.
Okay.
I got a note in here called intelligent ebonics. Because I'm gonna talk about intelligence. I'm preparing my stuff for your review. That every other page I get ready to jump on there, but I'm trying to wait till I finish it so I can do one. Because your review is coming, but I want to finish the whole book, and so I'm on 4 pages of little bitty notes that I write. On page 171, I wrote down teaching, because something you had wrote was a thing that made me thought of teaching. And because you're teaching, you're also teaching. I don't call this fiction. I know y'all call it science fiction. I don't call it fiction. But she wrote down here in quotes, YA, and then a single quote in trifling. And it's a one word, and I love it. And then pro-blacks aren't going to turn me into a traitor to the United States. That written just like you wrote it, typo or not, and it ain't a typo. That it was meant to be written like that. Anybody reading that can tell it was meant to be like that.
That is a good line.
Wow.
That is a good line.
Isn't that a good line? And then I smiled at that, read that a few times, and then that's how I've been reading the book. So it's going to take me a while.
That's okay. That's a wow. I don't even know what to say.
I even had to go to a new chair so I would quit, scribbling in my tablet. So I had to go to a new chair, prop up, read for a while, and laugh. That's how it's going on.
I'm toying around with the idea of possibly having like a closed chat session, not anytime soon, but after enough people have read This Black and This Black Nation and Melanin, and getting together and start doing book, not book reviews, but like book clubs where you just sit and
yes,
discuss
we can do that for all the books.
Yeah,
could
I
just have the book
like
next to
that.
me read.
Right.
As soon as a lot of people, because I was planning on doing something along those same lines, is have a Zoom meeting of the people who've already read your book.
Mhm.
Except I'm not going to invite you two because we want to talk by ourselves, and then
That's
we'll invite
right.
you
That's
two.
much better. I agree.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about you and talk about your book, and we're going to get it all straight from our own insight. Because at the time when you publish it, this is how I think about books. When you publish it, it's not yours anymore.
That's
Right.
true. That's true.
And so we got to talk behind your back and say all of our insights and what we thought we were reading. And
Exactly.
only then, after we get all of that out, we'll invite you to clarify. Maybe.
Insights or insults. I'm gonna let Mr. Pirate Brain come on in here
Okay,
and
I
get
love
that's where
that.
I'm at.
Thank you so much, Queen.
Mr.
Wow.
Mr. Pirate Brain, Mr. Music is
Hey,
in
how
the
you
house.
doing? Good talking to both of you.
Good talking to you.
Thank you, brother. You too.
Yeah, I've got your first book. I remember. I don't know if you remember when I told you I bought it. Oh, that was a couple of years ago. I had told you in the chat that I got it. Yeah. And
Oh, well, thank you very much. I don't remember specifically, but thank you for that.
yeah, I got it off of Amazon. But that would be nice. My mother, before she passed away, uh, she used to have a book club, and they
Hmm.
would meet in different houses, and they would pick a book for the month, and then they would all read it and come and talk about it. And sometimes the author would even come out to their house.
Oh,
Yeah, she lives in Columbia. Well, she used to live in Columbia, Maryland. She passed away in 2018. And that was part of the reason. I know that's not an excuse, but it was part of the reason why I stopped producing for my YouTube channel. It just took
oh,
the wind out of my sails. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I
you know,
understand that.
yeah, it just took the wind out of my sails.
Mm.
And I'm dealing with congestive heart failure. I've had 2 heart attacks. I almost didn't make it for this year. I was in the hospital for
Mm.
2 weeks
Oh
before
my
Christmas.
God. Wow.
Yeah. So, and I know most of it is diet, and
Mm.
really a hard thing. And then I'm on disability right now, so it's harder to buy good food, so
Mm.
it's gonna get hit both ways. But I'm working on it, I'm working on it, and I just wanted to let you know that I do plan on getting Iapo's book and your other 2 books, because I want to create a library of authors that I'm familiar with. I really want to do that,
Mm.
and I support Black people's channels, and I support their work.
Thank you, brother.
Because I've had people support my work, so I just feel that we have to, because we don't have anybody else that's going to do it for us. You know,
Mm.
and I remember asking Iapa, how are we going to separate without leaving the country? Because those people will, like, remember those sisters that bought that land in Georgia a
Hmm.
couple years ago? Next thing you know, the white people were coming over there. Well, you can't have this without having white people on it. They just started attacking them, basically. And I just, whenever we separate, they come to stick their nose in our business.
I think at a certain point in time, if we get the warning out about Fukushima and all man-made radiation sources, white people are going to insist that we have our own separate nation because of, my just efforts, my work, and because of us, that we are not going to be okay with having the waters tainted to the point where you can no longer eat seafood. So I think that that's the thing that, in a way, it's almost like a Trojan horse that they've given, or just like I don't want to call it a gift because it's genocide. That's not something to delight over. But at the same time, they went too far with that. That doesn't just impact Black us. That impacts everybody on the planet. That impacts our oxygen levels. All they're doing is they're obfuscating the cause of these different issues. But everything I've warned about long before it started happening, and we're just seeing the results thereof. You can't release that much radiation into our natural environment. It doesn't have catastrophic effects. So when people say, oh, I think it's ritual murder, or maybe it's the, injokable that took someone out. I've been talking about our youth dying forever. And all the different species that started dying in the Pacific, they certainly didn't line up for anything, recommended by Fauci. And so that's what I think at a certain point, the understanding of what they've done to our planet will be undeniable, but we just got to stop everybody's addiction and that thinking, like Brother Yapo was explaining. And then folks will say, whoa, wait a minute. So yeah, I think at a certain point in time, white people are going to be like, look, you guys, you're right. You need to be on your own. We're really sorry we did this to you, and we will stop other white people from coming on in here for you.
Yeah, that's the only way this is going to stop, is if they get on board and stop it. Because I don't think we're going to be able to stop them by ourselves. Not that we want to partner up with them, because that's always been a disaster. Right. But they have to just take it upon themselves. Look, leave those people alone. They have to take that upon themselves. And it's kind of, I'm not a religious person, but it's kind of biblical, because every year several plagues are just bombarded, and it's almost like, hey, let my people go.
Yes,
it's coming down to that.
Yes, and it is. I mean, I'm understanding, because for a lot of people, it sounds like you're proselytizing or just being an annoying, churchy person. But at the same time, it's prophecy. When I saw it and recognized what it was, I was like, wow, it's all coming to pass. And so, no, they can't stop that. They can't stop that.
It's no way. It's like they initiated the cocaine plague on Black folks. And it got to a point where it started hurting their children. And then it got out of hand, and then turn around with the heroin epidemic. It's mostly them that are affected by this.
Yeah, right now. Yes.
Yeah, it's mostly them, and they can't stop it.
And it always has been. I didn't recognize how many of their own had been addicted, like the first, Coca-Cola. They were putting cocaine in the soda pop, and folks were using, what was the opium and
the laudanum.
Laudanum, that was another one. Yeah. So it's them, and they just make us the face of every single vice that they can encourage us to start participating in.
Exactly. That's what they do. And then, if they do make something legal, then we're sitting up in jail for selling weed. And now they got weed shops on the corner, and maybe 2 Black folks have a weed shop.
I know. Yeah, they come in, they take it all over. Though at the same time, that I like the fish, that weed is very, very dangerous for different reasons I don't want to go over, because I don't want to bore people. Right. And I don't know that I would bore folks. It's just that it's difficult in being the person who studies the mechanics of radiation. That I'm always the one saying, oh yeah, now you can't do this and you can't do that. But at the same time, weed's problematic, and I think that's why they are legalizing it because it's a genocide. Those Georgia Guidestones aren't up there just because, you know, they had some time and felt like doing a piece of, you know, murderous sculpture. The weed, it absorbs, it's a bioaccumulator, massive quantities of radiation, and you're breathing it in. That's one of the vectors where radiation just is extremely dangerous, as if it goes into your lungs, especially plutonium. So,
It's
yeah.
like sunflower too.
Yes,
Sunflower. I was in Argentina, and this was like from 88 to 94. And I met a guy that had a farm, and he was growing sunflowers. And I was like, "You growing sunflowers for sunflower seeds?" He said, "No." Well, he was telling me they absorb a lot of the toxins out of the air. And we eat so many sunflower seeds, you know, we eat a lot of that. And it's really as bad as eating oysters, you know, because oysters, in fact, all of those shellfish like oysters, crabs, lobsters, they're bottom feeders.
Yep.
And they were put here on the planet to clean the ocean.
Yeah.
You know, so you're eating something that's just eating all the filth of the ocean. Yeah, it tastes good. I mean, I love me some lobster, some crabs. I'm from Maryland, so I mean, you know, I love crabs. You know, but it's not good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And I know that a lot of these different foods are very, very addictive, because I used to be addicted to them. I never thought there'd come a time when, you know, I would not be eating a whole bag of Pepperidge Farm cookies in one sitting. But it came because, like you had said, Mr. Pirate Brain, is you go slowly, but you do your best not to look back. There may be days where you feel a little weak. But what I've done now is I've just substituted all the bad stuff for stuff that's a heck of a lot better, heck of a lot healthier. And as my body has gotten stronger, I refuse to relinquish my health, my strength, because I'm 60 and I feel freaking fantastic. We don't even have, between me and my king, we don't even have aspirin in the house because we don't need it. So I'm just like, you know what? If this is what this does, then I'm sorry. They want to make fun of it as if it's rabbit food. This is the most delicious rabbit food ever. For me, it's pizza at this point in time, and I wouldn't want to eat a slice of pizza, except for maybe vegan, organic as possible. I might want to eat a slice of that, but I don't need to eat the whole pie anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I have a recipe for vegan key lime pie, and the meat of the key lime pie is made with avocado, and to sweeten it, it's using what's that sugar made from?
There's palm sugar, there's date sugar.
No,
coconut.
it's made from the cactus. Lord have mercy, I can't think of it. It's the same plant that they use to make tequila.
Agave.
Yeah,
agave. That's exactly it.
Yeah, it's made from agave, and you use nuts to make the crust. And it can be any kind of nuts. If you're allergic to certain nuts, you don't use those. Just use the ones you want. And you put in a bunch of limes, and then you garnish it with key limes. I'll send you the recipe if you want to put it in your book.
I don't even eat sweets anymore. I don't eat any sugar at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because if for somebody, if they want some sugar, it's a healthy way to eat it.
That's exactly it. And that's what I did. I started just baking all my own cookies and pies and cakes, and they were absolutely delicious. I had people who ate vegan, ate the eggs, ate the cheese or whatever, would order pies or cakes from me, and they were just like, what? This is vegan? It's just that I realized when I stopped eating the sugar that all sorts of other issues were going away, because as Dr. Africa had shared, the sugar will sap minerals from your body,
Wow.
because it doesn't, your body needs to work overtime to digest it. And so, yeah, when I left the sugar alone, now that's why I think I've achieved, 5 miles of running, and it doesn't, overtax me, is because my legs used to ache. And I was like, what the heck's going on with my legs? And I didn't know it was the sugar that was affecting them.
Yeah, I'm dealing with that myself with the congestive heart failure. And
Mm.
it's tough to recover from. Once your body gets out of whack, then you got to get it back in whack, and that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
You know.
I always say, yeah, go slow, but do your best never to look back, because it's easier to just get on board with health than it is once your health has been destroyed. It's a lot more, because then you got scar tissue and damage in your body that you also have to work on, so that it's not a hazard.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. If you're cooking something, have you ever used almond oil?
No, I haven't, only because it's so expensive. So I haven't really even looked that deeply into it. The one issue is, again, almonds, as far as nuts go, they absorb a lot of radiation. But at this point in time, that's another reason why I want to just build and build and build. And I'm not willing to let social media stop me, is because I want to test the food. I'm eating the same food everybody else is, even if it's, I'm make sure I get organic or whatever. It's the same rain. And so I want to know and be able to just say, okay, this is how much radiation is in this group of food and how much is in that. We need that information, that they're deliberately not sharing with us. I know they know, but they're not telling the general population. They're not telling even white people. They're like the Chinese. They don't care about their own. So the almond oil, I will sometimes drink almond milk, but very rarely. And I just don't use it that much. The oils I use are walnut oil. And for seasoning, I'll use the extra virgin olive oil. And I make both of those, I use organic versions.
Right, right. Hey, I wanted to ask you a question. Are you on Facebook?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
I have another guy that I'm on Facebook too, under Mr. Pirate Brain or David Moore, because that's my name, David Moore. So you can look me up, and
Yes.
I think I have a couple friends that have channels, and what they do is they just send me a messenger chat saying with the where their video is located. So it's not promoting it through YouTube. It's personally promoting it. So that way, if you lose your channel, you put up a new channel, you can come in and hit us up with a link so we can find you. Because a lot of times I don't see you when you're live because I don't get the announcement. So that's why you don't see me in there often, is because I just don't get the link in time.
Now, are you David Moore with the adorable little baby sitting on your lap?
That's me.
Okay, I see you put in a request,
granddaughter.
and I'm confirming it right now. There we go. We friends.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's my granddaughter. So.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Oh.
Yeah, she's bigger now. She's 6 now.
Wow, time does pass. That's for daggone sure.
It goes by, I'm telling you. But look, I appreciate you guys letting me up, and it was a pleasure talking to you in person, because I always come up on there, but you don't know my voice.
I know.
I know your voice, but you don't know my voice. So I just want to send a salute to you and your king. Y'all are doing a great job. You are doing a great job. And don't let them get you down. Don't let them do it.
Thank you, brother.
You know?
I'll try
And
my best.
you can use some of my music if you want. If you want, I'll make some stuff just for you, because if you're using stuff from my channel, they might hit you with, well, you're not monetized anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, for them, it matters. Anything that they can come at me with, they do. But I would love to hear that, because just a general no copyright music, it tends to be pretty daggone dull.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll just let me know what style you want, because I have house music up there and I have lo-fi. So let me know which style that you prefer, and I'll just send you something new.
Okay, I'll
And
go to your channel and check it out so that I could let you know. Because other than that, I'm a musical junkie. I love music like
oh,
ravenous.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank Brother Yapo.
Thank you, Yapo. Yeah, yeah. Thank you too. And Yapo, I'm gonna get your book as soon as I get paid the next time. I'm gonna pick that up too, and I'm gonna pick up the Furnace of Affliction. I'm gonna get both of those books.
That's a beautiful thing. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Take care.
Love you.
Love to. Bye bye.
It was nice talking to you, Mr. Private Brain. Yapo, have you thought about thinking about getting a satellite or something that we can make sure that we aren't cut off? Maybe we can have a GoFundMe to purchase some space on the satellite so we can be independent of the social media for when something happened. I'm taking it seriously about Radical Sisters channel. Can y'all hear me?
I can
Oh,
hear you.
I'm
I think Brother Yapo, he might have gone to take care of something because I don't hear him.
okay. Well,
Okay.
I'm taking it seriously about your channels being cut down. I think this is a warning, because the Most High apparently is telling us to move to the next phase.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
and so I'm taking it as a warning to letting us know, or to put us on notice, that social media is not stable for us. So we need to find our own solution to get past it, because when they pull the rug out from under us like that, we're sort of caught, with no solution handy. So we got to get ready for that. And so I don't know if we need to get a GoFundMe or what to purchase a satellite or purchase space on a satellite, something that can't be touched. That's
Right.
totally ours.
Right. I agree. I support that 100%. And I know that that's the case. This is
Hmm.
They're not going to confess and say, "Oh, sorry," this, because it's obvious, it's deliberate. The thing they fear most is not Pookie and Ray Ray, as Brother Yapo's been saying. They fear us waking up.
Yes. That's why we see so many starving demons out there, is because we're waking up and getting away from them as people.
Mm.
And so that's what's happening. Starving demons are those Karens that are running around, are just white people running around creating scenes, getting up in black people's faces, saying ridiculous stuff.
Mm.
They're starving and they're creating havoc because they need to be fed, and they're trying to provoke you to spend your energy on them. Passion, your anger, your sex energy, anger energy, pain energy, despair energy, frustration energy is all food.
Mm.
So when you are frustrated with them, if they can't get you to have sex with them, then they want to get you frustrated so that you'll still be focusing your energy. That emotion that you feel when you're talking to them is food.
Yeah.
And so so when you in the presence of a starving demon, they're not using logic, and there's no logic you can give them that'll make them stop, because logic ain't the issue. They're trying to get fed, and there's a lot of them out there now. They're more public because black people are backing away from fooling with them.
Mm. Yeah, I know you're absolutely right. And I just, when I contemplate how it seems like I think they're hiring people to commit different violences in order to hide the fact that they're becoming so unhinged,
Yes.
that there's more and more of them doing things that just are incomprehensible. And I know it's because we've been feeding that energy
Hmm.
dearth within them with our worship of them. That
Yes.
makes them feel as if, oh, well, I must be about something. It's an answer to the fact that they really literally feel like nothing. As
Because
long as
they're
there's
empty.
somebody, and yeah, as long as there's somebody envying them, then they're like, oh, okay, it can't be that bad. Look at them. They envy me.
Well, they are a lost kind of creature. I'm not sure. I think they're mixed with people, but they're not full people
Right.
anymore. It just that's what it's looking like. I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't got a DNA scan, but
Mhm.
um, something is wrong. I can tell you that. If you on a planet and you can't even be in the sun that made the planet that feeds everything else, and you hear it, and you that means you're not indigenous.
Right, right.
That's
Exactly.
biology 101. You're
Mm,
not native to the biome if you can't survive it because the biome made you what you are.
mm. That's it. That's what I said, because when they say, oh no, with the cold weather, that's what turned us white. And I'm like, I see the Eskimos, they've been there
Hmm.
for 10,000 years and they
Yes.
still discernibly brown.
Yeah.
So
And they don't fit.
they don't. And their nature is more like a predatory
Yes.
type of just everything, actions, thoughts, ways that
Everything.
they try to excuse everything that they do. It's nonstop predatorial. And I think they want to be seen in the same light as we, the original people, where it's humanity, but they've only used that as another method of hunting people.
Yes. And hunting and I know black people feel unique, but this is for the whole world and everything in the world. They are hunting everything. There is not a microbe that hasn't been examined, turned upside down, looked at, and tried to be exploited. I mean, from the macro level to the micro level, it's all
Yeah,
under. It's all there. We're the only thing. They're mad at us because we're the only thing standing between them and total destruction.
yeah. And we won't agree with it. We won't co-sign it like, oh yeah, that sounds great.
No.
No, no. And they very much, they did a flip where I think they once again want to position white people as the only ones who are going to fight this. And that's one of the reasons why they keep our channels, who we get what's going on and we ain't doing no
Mhm.
daggone flipping. Um, they need to keep our voices so silent because we're lodging the protests. I just vehemently, 100%. I'm like, how we go from the most homophobic, big quotes, people on the planet to now we're the most freakish?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That's not possible.
That's because it's not a logical argument. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, they're saying both sides. We're either biggest perverts or the least perverted. And they're
Mm,
arguing at the same time in our face that might even on the same day in the same sentence. And if you look at any website that's got porn on it, you'll see who all's there.
exactly.
And so, and if you look
Mhm.
at anything that wants something weird done, you see who's wanting to do it.
Mm,
And so, that's why I'm wanting to figure out how to get to the next step where we can have our own source of communication that's not in their control in any way, because they just told us they can pull the plug at any time they want. So how do we
mhm.
what we gonna do about it? And that's what I'm taking to mean with the thing that happened with your channel, because it went just like that. No logic, no rationale, not even obeying their own rules,
Yeah. Yeah.
just like
They have
that.
no rules. They have, and Google, I know that the devil knows the Most High is real
Hmm.
because he'll announce what he's doing, even if he has it in a backstory somewhere, he'll
Hmm.
announce what he's doing. And so Google and they call it Meta now, whatever, that satanic thing, Facebook, all of those platforms have announced that they are spies, that they're
Yes.
biased,
Yes.
that they're unfair. Google used to have in their motto that they would be fair and balanced and do things the right way. And they took that out because they know in order to hunt us, especially if we put on the mantle, the armor of God, they have to be more devilish. They can't do it in a way where, oh look, we're above suspicion. We just want to give you the Constitution and freedom of speech. And no, that was never intended that way. It's just that we were at a level of ignorance of what they're doing, so that they got away with restricting our movements. But now we don't suffer from that same level of ignorance, and thereby that's kind of smoking them out like a hornet's nest.
Hmm. Well, I figured that that situation with the person that died recently is much like the other stuff that we can't talk about or can't say, including this big group of people that we can't really say nothing about because they'll come at you. And
Yeah.
this event 2 years ago that we can't really talk about because they'll come at you. So they got certain things that are protected speech that logical though it may be, that you're not allowed to speak out loud. And I think this one is one of them. The
Yeah.
reason why this person that recently died lost me is because I looked at the medal that she gave to the governor of Haiti, and it was of a black man being stepped on under this white person. I think it was supposed to be an angel, but it was a black man being stepped on, being crushed under this being that was on top of him. And she gave that to the government of Haiti as a commemorative medal.
What?
Yes, she gave it to
Wow.
him with a smile, with a grandmotherly giving you some cookie smile. And I said, if you can look in somebody's eye and hand that to them with a smile on your face, something is off about you. And it's
Ooh.
bad.
Whoa.
It's still on the internet. I had it a few minutes ago because I wanted to make sure that before I mentioned that it was right, that I'm talking the right stuff. And yeah, it's still there.
Mm.
Um,
Wait, are you saying, yeah, I'm still here.
yeah, the thing is still, this thing is still on the
Oh,
internet, and there was a big old protest about the medal that she gave the government of, I think it's government of Jamaica, not Haiti,
mm.
governor of Haiti.
Well,
He's
they
got a
they
picture of her chest.
completely silenced the fact that when William and whatever the heck his chick is went over to the Caribbean islands,
Hmm.
that there were massive protests.
As it
No,
should be.
yes, no, people were livid to have them come by, and they just would just show a tight photo so that you didn't see all the people who were like, get the hell out of here and go home. Give us our money and give us our freedom and leave us alone. So, wow, that is wild. She gave him a medal.
I'm not kidding. It is. It's a medal. Let me see if I can pull that up again because I just had it a few minutes ago. I'm gonna go back to Google Chrome and see if
Oh, Sister Lashid, how are you? And everybody who's also come on in, Brother King, Maya, Biz, how you doing, King? Um, it's good to see you. It's really good to see. I'm learning. I'm learning right now. I love that. Sister Lashid, I don't know if you want to come on up in here, but Brother Yapo posted a link. If you scroll on up the chat, you'll run across it sooner or later. So if you want to come on in, please do. I think Brother Yapo, he might have been frozen off again.
I'm gonna drop the link in there so other people can just open it in a new window and see the headline of this. It's from Insider magazine. And it talks about the Jamaica's governor general has boycotted the Queen's Honors Medal after protesters called it racist. And its imagery resembled the killing of George Floyd. That's the headline. And so you can look at it. And if you look at the medal, if you scroll down in there, I'm not saying open it up on here, but if you scroll down, you'll see the picture of the angel. I think it's Saint somebody or angel somebody standing on the black man's back, I mean head. And It's
Oh.
not a good picture of it on this picture, but you can still find some other better pictures of it if you keep researching. But yeah, she gave that to him, and if you see the picture of her handed that to him, it's like a sweetest smile on her face as she's handing
Mm.
him this terrible thing.
Mm.
Um, if
Damn.
you get, I just dropped the link in the chat, and
Okay.
so if you open it up in a new window, that's the first picture you'll see is her giving it to him like she's giving him the something nice, and that's what made me really look at her, because I really didn't have no feelings for her either way. I just thought that was a nice idea of having royalty. But if you can hand somebody something like that with that sweet smile on your face,
Mm.
something is bad wrong. And that's when she lost me.
Mm. Wow. Wow. Okay, that's like that. Okay, I got it right here. I got the link. It took a little bit for it to come on up. I noticed, Sister Lashid, in your chat, uh, in your live, that they're shadow banning all sorts of comments because you were posting things during your talk that I was like, wait a minute, I didn't read that. And I even screen captured it because I was just like, I just want to have a record of what these people still do and just help. You weren't even, I mean, you were saying the truth, but there wasn't anything that was aggressive or awful. But I'm looking, you
Mm,
know what? I'm going to share my screen so other people could. Oh no, I'm not up there. So, Brother Yapa would have to be able to get back into his own live stream. I hope he can. I hope he's not frozen off. And
yeah.
in which case, we'll just wait and he'll be able to uh, keep moderating. But yeah, I wanted to share. But I see the article, I got it right here. Jamaica's Governor General has
Hmm.
boycotted the Queen's Honors Medal after protesters called it racist and said its imagery resembled the killing of George Floyd. Now, what I find interesting is that he didn't refuse it right away, which is that's how they pick these different politicians, because they'll go along with whatever the heck is coming from these, satanic elites. But oh my goodness, I'm looking at the medal right there, and there they have it. The angel, which is stepping right on. And it looks like it's obvious because he's 2 shades darker
Hmm.
than the angel himself, that's a brown man that he's stepping right on.
Yes.
Wow.
And so you see, but scroll up and look at her face.
Oh, yeah, she's smiling. She's smiling, giving it to him.
Now, that is a level of cruelty
Mm,
that's beyond anything I could ever understand.
mm.
Because that lady is knowingly handing that to that man. And she is looking like she is handing him something so sweet and nice. And she is feeling sweet and nice while she's doing it.
Yeah. And that's it. They know this is just evidence, an echo. They know all of these things that they try to depict as conspiracy theories.
Mhm.
This is what they are.
And this is where she lost me at, because I didn't ever think anything good.
Mhm.
But I was really thinking more positive things about her than negative until I saw that with my own eyes. They put that up there. That is not something that Black people put there. That is white people putting there about white people.
Mm,
And this lady did that action. And
mm.
I can't uh, get past that. That right there said everything I needed to know about her.
Right.
And so I ain't saying no. I know that it's a one of those touchy topics now that we got notice on it, but she lost me. She lost me. I can't dance with the devil.
Mm. See, and that's also like she lost me when I found out about the 11 Native children, because I'm like anybody's children. I don't want to see
Mhm.
anything happen and for them to just disappear and never be heard from again. And people try to uh, exact justice over it against her because of that, and their careers were just incinerated immediately. That lost me, and then her just knowing about all of the different, the Illuminati, the Black nobility, the things that they do on the regular behind the scenes, that also lost me. And just bringing Megan in, and that look she shared, not shared, but just threw at Megan during the wedding ceremony, and she was burrowing, burning
Mhm.
holes in the back of Megan's head. Not that I got any love for Megan. You could see the contempt that she had to dip down that far in order to resurrect her reputation. And they've been doing overtime with all these shows, The Crown and all the rest of that. Um, this is a cold, calculating, demonic woman, and that's not even the sum total of all the reasons why. They're German. They're just as Nazi as any Nazi that was out there. So
That's right. They are.
yes, they're in it to win it. They're not in it to suddenly be warm and friendly, like you said with the picture, where she's just looking like she's could be handing out a box of cookies that she baked herself.
Hmm.
That's a whole type of evil
Yes.
that we don't understand.
Yeah, another whole another level of evil.
Mm,
That's like a grandmotherly look to this child that she cares about, but she's handing him death, and
yeah,
she's looking at him with a smile.
yeah.
And I can't let that go. That tells me everything I need to know, and I need to be away from that.
Mhm,
So can't I can't co-sign that. Can't
mm,
co-sign that. And that's her action herself. Nobody told me that. I'm looking at a picture with my own eyes, and that, you know, you can't spin that away.
right, right. And was it brother Mr. Pyrebrain? He had said that all I did was dance, and I really appreciate that, brother. Because yes, that's all I did. I was just having a good old time.
It was funny as heck.
Yeah, thank you very much. I had so much fun doing it.
I was laughing at them faces you were making.
And but that's a political stance. There's nothing. What is this like back in the days where royalty you can't say anything against them or whatever? So it was just all just phony. And Sister Lashid, I see you saying that you're backstage, but you have to be allowed in. So I don't know. They didn't say it was that video, but I'm thinking that that really really pissed them off because they very much want us to bow down. They have
Mhm.
launched such a propaganda to resurrect her status and the whole royal family in our minds so we'll more easily accept white supremacy as being better for us. When there's so much, this woman, she owns more uranium mines than anybody on the planet. So she understands about man-made radiation. She would understand about Fukushima even. And because how in the world would she not have the very best of advisors? So that's outside of all of that. But I don't know if that was the reason why they terminated, and they don't need to say anything whatsoever. But all I'm saying is the war is on, and they know, not from us, but from them, and they can't win unless they just go down to a completely despicable level, and they hope to keep their farm animals, their human farm animals that people will call them
Mhm.
sheeple, and you're not supposed to be sheeple. Um, to keep them on board because that's the only leverage they have is that little window of time when it takes people time to make a judgment and call on something and say no, that's wrong, that's evil. So that's the window that they need to exploit, and that's why they're going to silence truthful voices.
I don't even think her body is where they say it is because it's already deteriorated and gone back to some other realm.
I know
Okay,
whew.
I'll take that. I'll retract that statement and say I don't know about that, because that was mean, uh, but not that mean.
No, it wasn't. It's like if we make jokes about Hitler, it's no big deal, right? But that Hitler wasn't successful.
Well, I
The
say that
royal
if they
family
dish out
has
stuff
been.
like that, they ought to be able to take it back. They ought to be able to take what they dish out, though,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
heaven knows they dish out enough stuff on us, and they dish out a lot worse. So, okay.
Mm.
And I never handed somebody a statue, a medal like that with the darn ever in my life. I wouldn't, I am not capable. I wouldn't hand nothing like that to
I
you,
know.
let alone with a smile on my face.
Exactly. But you also wouldn't go into somebody's home and set up a flag and say, "I own this now."
Yeah, I wouldn't do
So
that
it's
either.
like, yeah,
It's alien to me. Even if I had the power to do that, I would not do that.
yeah,
Even if I
yeah.
control the whole world, I wouldn't do that.
Exactly. Exactly. If I controlled the whole world, the first thing I would make sure is everybody has an adequate amount of food.
That's what I would do.
And yes, and then I would just be like, no, all you people who are making like $1 billion a year, no more, no more. You cannot take that much resources, and
Hmm.
then your workers are being paid starvation wages.
Oh, I'd say they can make it, but they got to do it with their own hands.
Exactly. And I would have it back where the heads of state, if you have the nerve to say you're going to wage war on somebody, you got to get on that
That's right.
battleground first.
You and your children and your grandchildren,
Exactly.
your
Exactly.
family goes first,
Hmm.
and they go on the front lines or wherever you're trying to send everybody else.
Exactly. Exactly.
Because
So I
yeah,
gotta get out of here because I
yeah,
gotta
it is getting late.
yeah. And I don't know. I think Brother Yubble got like disconnected from this, and Sister she wants to come on in, but she's still waiting in the back room. So I don't know, and our brother isn't responding. I would think he would be listening definitely, and would come on over. So hopefully he'll come on over
I
because I
wonder if
don't
you
know
can
how to
talk in the
shut this
comments.
down. Hmm?
Yapo, if you can hear us, will you put a note in the comments on StreamYard? I
Yeah,
wonder if he can get in through that.
I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna text him and see because that usually oh, I think he said I see something that says 1 moment, please.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
oh no, maybe that was for the link. Let's see. I'm gonna ask, are you still in the live? Because I don't want to leave it open and then it's just like recording in his home.
Hmm. I'm gonna
Um,
put the link to the new channel, to Radical Sisters' new channel, in the chat room, Sister Lashid, so, in case you missed it. She's got a new channel.
yeah, it's a whole different one. So I don't have any playlists or anything that is up on there. So no, brother isn't responding. I don't know.
Okay.
I hope everything is okay with him, because otherwise he would have been able to hear
Hmm.
me saying that I was going to text him. And usually I'll see that second check to say that, yeah, he got the text. So I don't know what we're going to do right now.
Uh, it's getting on 4 o'clock,
Yeah.
so maybe we can pick up some other time and do some more stuff because this is fun. A
Yeah,
lot of
I
people think.
agree. It is. And I would love for you, Sister Ashi, to have been able to come on in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I guess I'm gonna just shut down and hopefully I don't know. I don't know what to do.
And think about how to get us a GoFundMe to get our satellite, because we'll put it right over Brother Yapo's place.
Right. No kidding. No
Either get a
kidding.
satellite or a satellite dish, something that the enemy don't control.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need.
Exactly. That's what we need. 100%.
And
Um,
that's what the creator just told us to do.
yeah.
Those are our marching orders.
Yes. That's how he puts it out there.
Hmm.
Right. Okay. I'm hungry. I'm gonna make myself my pizza. Ah,
Okay.
all
Oh
right.
yeah. Write a recipe book, please. And we need
Mm.
brand names for your stuff. Now, a cookbook, you don't have to cook, but a recipe book, we can know what you mix up, and read and
Ah,
duplicate that, because um, a lot of us are having trouble getting this, figuring out what to do.
the ingredients. See,
Yeah,
that's what. Yeah,
and
and
so we
I
need
want.
brand names that
Mm-hmm.
are and our substitutes, but just tell us what we're supposed to be doing, because I'm looking at you and I can see how healthy you are, and you never stop, and you're dedicated in doing it.
Mm.
For those of us who made a wrong turn somewhere, we need to get back on track. And so,
Okay. You're right, because the furnace of affliction was very narrow. I kept it
mhm,
on the radiation,
yeah,
and I could do something that's just broad ranging and explain what the different ingredients do. And yeah, I'll conceive and figure all of that out. That might be
yeah.
actually the better next book for me to put together.
Just a recipe book, showing what you
Mhm.
put together and what brands you used, and alternate brands, and even create a bit of a meal plan to know that because when we're trying to get on track, we need to know what to eat during, so that our bodies can get used to it. So during the course of a day, what kind of things do you eat? I
That's
mean, what
true.
can you eat? And during the course of a week, what kind of things do you eat to sustain yourself? What is an alternate to protein, to meat protein that helps? So
Right.
name a
Wow.
brand. What
Mm.
is an alternate to a thing like a milk? What is an alternate to a thing that we might be drinking in tea or coffee or whatever? And,
Mm.
um, do that kind of thing. And please, so that we can know what to get on track, so we can start making ourselves a little better, because it's obvious we can't eat the food because we're not set up to metabolize the food, and it's destroying our young people and ourselves. Even the healthy young 20-year-olds and things are looking distorted. So, yeah, just that,
That's a
recipe
done
book.
deal. I think that's the plan. That's the done deal.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Ah, all right, Pete. Oh, I see. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, three strikes. It was. I didn't even have anything but a warning on my channel.
Ah,
They were not three strikes at all. They just took the whole thing down. You know how they are.
and
That's what.
they took all of our channels down. That's
Oh,
something they never do.
yeah,
They would take out one channel or tell you something or give you a strike. They just did that, and that's when I know that the fix was in.
yeah, yeah.
And that's
Hmm,
why I'm looking at it as a message from Allah, or whoever your creator you go with, and I
exactly.
call it the creator. Um, to get our act together about having independent sources of communications, so that we can still be in touch with each other over long distances in a short time, and have our act together, because we can't rely on what we got now. It's not
Damn
sustainable, and it's not
straight.
stable. The enemy is not going to help us tear down his house
Mm,
and tear down their control over us.
that's
So
the truth.
we got to go to the next step. So
That is, yeah, that's it. That's it. All right, let me get out of here. My stomach is saying you need to eat something, girl.
okay,
All right. Oh, and I hope everybody just, I don't know, it'll be open still. And
power and
hopefully
blessings, y'all.
y'all can come on in. And peace and blessings to everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me get on out of here. Let's see now. This tab is usually okay. Okay. All right. Peace, everyone. Last one, as Brother Yapo says, last one out the door. Turn out the lights. But then again, you could still be here chatting, and that's okay. That's up to you. I don't know what's going on. I hope our brother is good. Now, how do I get out of here? I have absolutely no idea. Let's see. Do I go up here? I guess I just close the window. Peace.